He has grown.
Up your brow game. Come on, Katie.
I know. What am I doing?
Yes, yes.
Oh, goodness. Here, this is what I need.
Just turn off the screen for a minute.
Okay, there we go.
That's always a good one.
There's
Yeah,
that for
I
you.
learned that lesson because we use like
We're
YouTube to
not
post our
thinking
video,
of
like
big
rendering
fish,
videos,
yeah.
and it shows like all of your YouTube like nonsense, you know? I'm like, oh
Do you
god.
read that history?
What's that?
Would you like a big fish in our roundabout?
No, so this I was just,
Oh, wow.
and I actually hadn't really
Pull up one more.
planned on showing you anything, but this is an artist that I've worked with a lot
Oh,
before.
then you pulled this up, I thought.
Yeah, no, this, it's not for
Yeah.
inspiration here. I just wanted to show you what I've done at other projects just for fun, because you know that's kind of, I feel like this is a good time to sort of brainstorm and just see what, you know, get exposed to as much as we can. So this is a guy, and you know, again, I'm not suggesting any of this.
What
for,
is that
for this
made out
project.
of?
Steel. It was recycled bike parts, I think.
Is
This
it
is a-
almost looks like a fountain. Is it a fountain?
It's not a fountain. He used
Just the lights
he used this
on the-
blue crushed glass
Cool.
in the benches and
Uh-huh.
then backlit it. So at night it looks like the whale breaching.
Yeah.
But you can actually walk inside it and there's a seat inside. This is in a shopping
Oh, so
center.
you could be like Jonah and Pinocchio.
Exactly.
Where
Yeah, it's
is
perfect.
this?
This is in a shopping center in Petaluma in the Bay Area.
Yeah, I was just going to ask if it was near the water.
Oh, yeah. And this is one of my previous projects.
I need to
Um,
introduce
Have
myself.
you made sure you got our
Oh,
RFP?
what happened? Did you break it?
No, I'm happy to
did.
forward
I
it to him.
surgery last
He's
week.
based in California. If that's,
I know.
you know, if you want him to,
Been a
I'm
mess.
certainly happy to
I'll
coordinate.
send it to you.
Okay.
Send it to
Yeah.
anyone you want.
I broke my finger and tore all the
But
tendons out.
there's all kinds of fun stuff
Yeah.
that he's done for us. Where's this website?
Wow, I know, I thought about bringing my Pinterest of all the bike racks and garbage
You can
and
pull, I just pulled mine up.
all the Pinterest of bike racks, garbage
Yeah,
cans.
this one's cool. At the summer solstice, it projects the bee in a shadow to
Oh,
complete
really?
the ibis.
Wow.
That's actually, the sculpture's actually up here. That's just a shadow of the sculpture.
There's a water tank?
It's a water
It's a water
tank.
Yeah,
tank.
that is really cool.
He did this guitar for the Hard Rock. That's not ours. This is his website, so some of this is ours. This is a dog park we did, and
Oh, cute. Look at
same
that.
thing in Mountain View as part of the mixed use
Look at the bones in
center.
there.
Some of these I like, and some were a little
Don't apply to be
kitschy.
on the committee.
Yeah.
I think this is exactly what we've been looking
Is
at.
I
that
know.
a cat?
But that's a cat. That's also a bench. This one gets
Right.
way too hot. I'll tell you,
Oh, to
because
sit
that's a
on.
bench, but it's like polished stainless
See,
steel.
you know
and
the
it's-
criteria
oh, man,
that we
it's-
need to be like. We wouldn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah.
So in the winter would be a good
What
place
is
to
not a
sit.
butt burner?
Well, in the
You know,
winter it's too
that's
cold. In the winter
important.
it'll stick to
That's
it.
right. Well, but if the sun's shining,
Frost, you get
You either get singed
I
in
like
summer or-
this dog was my personal
Yeah, I like
favorite,
that one.
and the bone bench was pretty
Bone's
good
pretty
too.
cool.
What else did he have in here? Anything else?
Now that's artificial turf, right?
That was artificial turf. That's not ours. This is the artist.
Is that on, what's his name?
This is the artist's website. Let's see.
Katie, what's your email? Because Jane Brill sent me a bunch more sites this afternoon. I just,
Oh, awesome. It's KDR@SuperiorColorado.com.
That's what I thought. Okay. I'll
Did it
send
not
them
come through?
over as soon as we're finished,
Okay, that'd be good.
because she had probably
The
10.
agenda?
Is Daryl here?
Well, it's
or
stuck
not?
behind
She's in
locked
Vermont
doors.
still.
So,
Did you pull it up? So Melinda's
Yes, it's
taking
pulled
over.
up. That's what the green paper's for. You get to
What is this?
Oh,
What's the green paper for?
Taking notes.
We're gonna start
the
off
ghost agenda.
the ghost agenda.
Oh, okay.
It's stuck behind a locked door.
Yeah.
It's never locked.
Did we ever show you, Bill, the
Hi.
one that was the, like,
That's
looked like
what
a
I wanted to get
railroad
to.
It's
train?
on. If you go over to the Pinterest tab.
Hey, Marcia.
um,
Shall I move one over and you can have the corner and the leg
Scroll
rester?
down just a little bit.
The leg rest.
Oh,
there.
not that one.
Would that
Yeah,
work?
that one.
Oh, you want that one? Oops.
Yeah, that's the donut one.
No, I want that one that
Your
you
mo- right here.
pulled up.
Yep, the metal, the metal
Those look
ribbon.
like old rail,
Yeah.
and it's a bench,
Uh-huh.
but it's also, you know, your kids could, but on old railway.
Oh my God, totally awesome.
I know.
Holy moly.
Yeah, that's cool.
Holy
Isn't that
moly is
cool?
right. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's
Isn't
what
that-
we're after.
Those are the kind of things for,
Bill, what we're trying to do is do things we have to do anyway,
Right.
but do them.
yeah,
With
look at that.
pizzazz
Isn't that
and
bench
flair.
cool? I mean, it's probably not, necessarily
Rail,
rails, but
but
we looked at
it
it and said, oh, God, that looks like
It looks like
rails.
Hot Wheels track.
Yeah.
Boys,
Oh, yes, I did.
It does.
Boys.
Oh, can you imagine a Hot Wheels on that? You'd have to design it so you could actually.
Actually, that would
Start
be
a Hot
really
Wheels
cool.
on
You
top.
have to
Start
bring
the
your
Hot Wheels
family
car.
back. to
Yeah,
Sunday.
yeah,
You're allowed to-
yeah.
You have to come back to roll in
Yeah.
Hot Wheels on that hot
Yeah.
track. But those are, that, you know,
frankly,
You're-
that could be more than one bench if you just created a couple of benches
Right,
in there and
right.
then did the.
Right. I don't know where, I mean, we can figure out where that came from, but
Yep.
the idea is just so, those are the kind of things that make it cool and interesting.
Do you guys want to start with like an introduction now that everybody's,
Yeah, I would like
here,
an
or-
agenda maybe. I did not print it out. Where
Well,
is it?
it's, if you go to the Superior Colorado tab.
Who's controlling?
Me.
Bill
Bill is. Because he's
Melissa's
used to doing that,
controlling.
he's used to doing that.
Oh,
for-
Bill's controlling.
Bill was
Melinda's
an
doing it.
ad at the end, so we're just gonna go then and then we'll go down towards the end. So Bill will just start us off. So,
Okay.
but Melinda's leading us tonight. Daryl is out of town.
Oh, well, no, that's okay. I mean, this is perfect. I mean, this is kind of a priority for us,
Right.
you know, to help us with our vision going forward, to know what's possible, you know, what you think you'd be, just to see if our visions melt and if, you know, what you'd be willing to work with us on. But based on just the few, you know, images that you just brought up, I mean, that's pretty exciting. So clearly, I'm sorry,
Does
so I
everybody
missed
know
the-
Bill?
Yeah.
No.
Okay,
Yeah,
so
quick
maybe
introduction,
we
Oh,
right?
should-
yeah, I don't
Yeah.
even have my, yeah, sorry. I'm Melinda Tan.
Okay. I'm Bill Jenks. We're Ranch. I'm the vice president of real estate for Ranch Capital. Ranch Capital is the manager of downtown Superior. So we own all the land. We're selling land to home builders. We're responsible for building the parks and doing all the public improvements, which is why we're talking about public art. We're obviously finishing the roundabout, and I know you're working on an RFP for that. Bob Revis is back here too. Bob's our project manager.
Would you like to come join us?
Yeah, come on up here. We've got-
everybody
we've got seats.
sits
Come on
at
up.
the
Yeah,
table.
you don't have
We don't need
to,
to.
or you can come up.
Yeah, this is.
Very informal.
We are very
Engaging.
democratic, with a small d here.
Right.
And we're fun, too.
Yeah, there's that.
There's one.
So Bob's our on-site
Bob
project
and-
manager. He lives in Arvada or Arvada or Arvada. I always mix-
Arvada?
Arvada, sorry.
It's like
Um,
Dahlia and Dahlia.
Yeah.
It's like
say
bad,
that.
or bad.
I know,
Arvada?
Arvada. So Bob manages all the construction and day-to-day stuff. A lot of coordination here, and then Angie's our landscape architect.
Oh,
Ah, yeah.
We may have to change the whole.
yeah. Take that
Excited we are.
down. Wow.
So, between the three of us, we're pretty responsible for all of the design of the town center and working with builders on their designs and kind of the master plan scope. I'm an architect by training. I've been doing commercial development for roughly 10 years now. I'm going to show you some pictures of sculptures that we've done at other centers, just so you can see what I've done and get any inspiration you want. Some of it I like, some of it I don't like so much, but it just, here it is. Other than that, we're here to talk and engage and help you and do whatever we can do. So,
Cool, thank you, guys. Debbie Yates.
Kitty Sargent.
Terry Whitaker.
Marcia Rain.
Sandy Pennington, trustee liaison.
And
Oh,
Katie.
we already got.
Oh.
I'm Katie Rummel. I'm the staff liaison.
And I'm Rita Dozell, trustee.
what are your two names again? I'm sorry, I just wanted to.
Terry Whitaker.
Terry?
Yeah. You spelled it wrong.
Why?
It's
I can
I or Y?
guarantee you, it's a Y and an E.
Oh my goodness.
Put an I in
Oh,
there, you have every
T-E-R-R-Y-E.
possible iteration. And Marcia Rain, R-E-H-N.
Yeah, R-E-H-N, and I remember you from the last town
Board meeting,
Board
right.
meeting, that's right, it was a board meeting.
Great.
And you probably saw my presentation, and I saw yours.
I'm sure you were wowed by Marcia's elegance.
Absolutely. No, it was wonderful.
Beautiful job she did.
No, it was. So, where would you like to start?
Well, I honestly think we should start by looking at what you've done. I think that's just going to be kind of lead us into any other discussions, don't you think, ladies?
Can you
My
see
only
Marcia
thought is we
over
just want to
my
make sure
head?
the RFP is posted.
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, I do want
Oh,
to.
yeah.
Should we just start with that so we make sure that it's out?
Well,
since it's
I
time?
wanted to make sure that we respect these guys' time.
Oh, okay, so you
Yeah,
wanted them to
he has-
start, I must
oh,
have
we-
missed
yeah.
this.
He has pictures.
Oh, no, you can stay the whole meeting and you guys are all invited.
I really can't. I'm staying in a hotel in Denver tonight, so.
Yeah, Bill's not
okay.
even living here anymore. He doesn't
Yeah.
need to go home.
But he has to
okay.
come sometime, so it could be the fourth Thursday of every month
Yeah,
at
there
6
you go.
that he arrived.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you get tired of
Same
staying in
with
hotels,
Richard.
plenty of us have plenty of bedrooms.
Well, that's
The
very
other
kind.
name for this committee, by the way, is the Cool Committee. It's to put the cool in Superior, or the super in Superior. We haven't yet settled on a
Yeah.
catchphrase.
Okay.
You get the
The
point.
super and superior is pretty good.
Yes,
Yeah.
look good and have fun.
Yeah.
Good to have
Everybody
fun.
wants to be part of this committee now. They're all.
Well, it's the most fun
excited.
committee.
It's good.
So did you want me to start with these?
Yes.
Okay. So this is actually just the artist website. Some of the stuff I'll click on is stuff that was done for us, and some was not. This is an artist out of San Francisco area. He just happened to do a lot of sculpture work for us at my last company, in mixed-use centers and commercial centers. We just developed a good relationship with him, and he did this kind of monumental, big scale, and we got used to working with him. So we liked the stuff that he did.
Do you have any
Um,
idea how much this costs?
I could ask him on all these things. They're all going to be different.
Okay.
Honestly have no idea.
Depends on
And
how
we
much
did
it
a, I don't think he has it up here, but we did a 25-foot tall sculpture of a silicon molecule for a project called Superior Town Center, which was actually at the birthplace of Silicon Valley. It was where William Shockley invented the semiconductor. And so we had a monument to that event. And that sculpture was somewhere right around what you're talking about, like the $150,000, $200,000
Okay.
installed.
Oh.
This is a lot smaller, so I would hope that would be a lot less. But,
What's your opinion of that price range for the roundabout?
based on the scale, if we're talking 20-foot tall, that $100,000 for the artist, another 100 to install, and all of the associated costs sounds about right to me.
Well, the one that I sent over to you that's in Stapleton, that one was 100,000 maybe?
I'll find some other stuff that you did for us.
Wait.
Yep.
Yeah, it was.
See, this is and clearly this is all over the place. Some of this again is not ours. Let's see.
Before you move off the water feature
Uh-huh.
there, I know many of the members here have always said that they hope that you will have some kind of a water feature on or near the plaza.
Our plan for the plaza right now has a pop-jet fountain like this that would be on during the summer and probably off during the winter because it's tough to maintain them. The freezing and everything is a problem. Yeah.
And would that be
Some
on the
pictures of
main, on the
interesting
main
things.
street going in? Like where would that?
Do you guys have that? Do we still have that animation that we
Yeah.
presented for FTP1 Phase 1?
I'm sure it's there. Just-
It's in that animation. We could show that. Let me get through this first.
I just wanted to mention that.
This is a nice bench that we did a lot of these. Terrence ended up kind of cranking these out. We ended up doing probably 40 of these at different projects. But again, it's replacing a bench that you
Very
have to do
cool.
anyway with a cooler bench.
Yeah.
And so that idea, this is a little bit more manageable in scale than the railroad one. I like the railroad one a lot, but it would
Well,
be a lot
it's
more
plenty
expensive
big.
for this,
You
yeah.
might be able to get a
Yeah.
smaller version or have your artist that you're familiar with create something with that.
No, and everything he does is custom, hand-built, basically by him. He's got like two other people in the shop.
That is cool.
Oh, these are some trees that were in a lobby of an apartment building that we did.
No, it's an
octopus?
yeah.
Not ours. I'm
He
not-
likes fish.
He's in San Francisco.
Yeah, clearly he likes it. But that's a nice fish. I think it's a well-done
Does he
fish.
do anything
fish.
in
It's a
prairie
well-done
dogs?
fish. Okay, I can't. Did someone tell you that I wanted to do a prairie dog?
Oh, no,
I want to do a prairie
I
dog
was
so
joking.
bad. No,
Oh.
I really want to do a prairie dog.
Wait, go back
so
to the boot. That was really cool.
Well, you don't.
I mean,
Why
like the
that's-
mining boots or something,
Uh-huh.
miner's boot
Uh-huh.
or something like that. That's kind of cool.
That is.
Does it
By
serve a
the- by
function
the
for
old fire
anything?
truck?
Yeah, or
Or
something.
Oh my God, look,
Yeah.
and the artist just strapped it on and.
The back of
that's
his-
Terrence's truck. It just came and delivered.
Because until you see it on the back of the car, you don't realize how big it is.
Uh-huh.
So it's fairly movable.
That one is, it depends
So
on
that's,
the.
I mean,
depends
that's
on the
kind of
sculpture.
funny because, I mean, we had touched upon this pop-up art exhibit where it was blow-up bunnies. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And it was kind of funny because you never knew where the bunnies were gonna pop up.
Well, it's like the cows and.
Right, yeah, I mean, you never, so it
Well, that
could
could
be,
be
that- yeah, you
blow-up.
could like find the
Instead of
coot or
bunnies, that could
find the
be
groundhog,
bird
like
dog.
where's the groundhog
Where's the bird
hiding?
dog?
Yes, this month or.
Oh, that's Boulder.
The ones that were killed and moved to the,
Yeah,
that's okay. That was before Bill.
Was that a wine
So he
bottle?
works it with, in metal.
Well, Superior
Yeah, all
Liquor
of
should do
his,
that.
all of his work is in metal.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see,
Well,
a
I
couple more at the
definitely
beginning here.
think we should get the RFP to this guy. That's my
Except I
opinion.
wouldn't want a
Oh, that
bench
one
to
was
be
cool.
metal.
Which one? Which one?
Like the
That big
plates?
fish?
This one?
That one.
Oh, that one.
That was a tree, yeah. It was a sort of a, there's a shade structure
like
that,
a-
you know.
Now,
was made
these-
from
A shade
trees.
structure,
The
that's kind of
tree,
cool.
is that an example of something that your development commission to put in your development?
Yeah.
Oh, that is very.
That is cool.
The whale tail again in Petaluma.
Oh, yeah.
And that's all he's got in there.
I'd like to see that whale tail in the day light, rather than, I like the night lit.
Isn't that cool with the
blue,
turquoise?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
But I'd also like to see, because it seems, it's very porous, right?
It looks like the
some of
boot
his
a
other
little
work.
bit,
Yeah,
like the
I can
same
see
artist.
the
Same,
shadow.
this is all the same
yeah.
artist, yeah.
Interesting. Are there lights behind that are turquoise?
Yeah, there were
or-
lights underneath of this in the pavement that shone up into, well, the lights
Okay.
were actually white, the glass is turquoise, it's like a rough cut, just super jagged, big boulders of
Glass,
glass,
kinda,
yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
'Cause that
There's
is
also an
cool.
artist, I forget where she was out of, probably the same kind of area, named Mary White. She actually did the high water sculpture in Boulder along the creek there next to the library.
Oh, yeah.
She was another one that we looked at for some of this work, so I don't know if she's gotten the RFP or not, but she might be a good person to get her to. She has the same kind of scale, metal and glass. Her specialty is more glass.
What's her name? Do we have
honestly.
that written down
Mary
somewhere?
White, I think.
Okay.
So these are great, Bill, you know, and so what the
Yeah.
committee would like to do is, yeah, they've already started on the roundabout, which was one of the reasons they were
Mhm.
created. This committee was created for the roundabouts, but also the artwork and the unique things in the parks, 1 and 2
Yep.
in Central Park. And you know, you keep going down the path of working your benches and all the things for the plaza and all that. And if you want the committee to be engaged in that, they'd be happy to
Absolutely, yeah.
engage with you on that. But there are some particular areas, like the roundabouts and certain areas in the parks, that they're going to want to.
And that Main Street roundabout.
Yeah, both roundabouts,
Yeah.
yeah. And all of our roundabouts in town, you know, because we don't have anything down in Colton Road, McCaslin and Colton Road, which really needs something too, eventually. But we're here to talk particularly about the art fund, or the amount that was set aside, the $2 million in the TIF, for specific art within the public spaces of the town. So, and the first piece is the roundabout on McCaslin here, and then the second piece most likely will be the roundabout on Main, and then pieces within the parks 1 and 2. But, you know, beyond that, then you'll continue to do your things that
Yeah.
you're doing, you know, benches and plaza, dress up the plaza and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But I would ask you, and I don't remember if you've actually said anything or given us any indication at board meetings, the theme that you have, is there a theme? Should we have a theme? Should we work with you on a theme? Or what is your perspective in other areas that you've worked? Because we've looked at some development areas that kind of have a theme, you know, of types of art, so they kind of fit together. And we're not talking about a miner's theme or anything like that. But you tell us, do you want a theme? Do you have a theme? What's your view on themes?
You know, I mean, I have a theme for the architecture and the feel of the place, which is really just about being, you know, and it's always tricky to describe. I want it to feel like an authentic downtown center that you know could have been here for longer. I don't want it to feel like downtown Disney, where you walk down there and all the buildings are the same and they all have that faux nonsense everywhere. But, you know, I also want it to feel contemporary and new and upscale. And so, you know, with the architecture that we have done, you know, for the perspective, commercial buildings tries to marry those two things together. Obviously, when it comes to art, you always want to look to the history of the area more than anything else. And so, I've read the downtown Superior, the Superior, the
Law
history
Superior.
book, Law Superior, and referencing that and trying to find interesting pieces of history that have some relevance, I think, is the most important thing. As far as having I don't think it needs to be a miner's theme or a horse theme or all of the different art ties together. I think it's almost better if you have an eclectic mix, and even if it's done by different artists, so that it feels more like actual, like a gallery. When you walk into a gallery, there's all kinds of different art from different artists, and they all have different styles. That's kind of what you want the art in the town center to be. Obviously, when you have public art like this, it needs to be durable and safe, and typically made out of metal or glass or stone. So that kind of narrows the medium down a little bit. But I'm open to hearing your thoughts on theme and or it can be abstract. It doesn't have to be a horse. It can be like you had some examples. It can be a circle, or it doesn't have to.
I like what I'm seeing, and as far as we've never liked the idea of a theme, and I think when we have talked to the trustees about what we wanted to do and to have different pieces, their fear is that it's going to look like a circus, like some kind of crazy Disney, right? Which is not our intent at all. We don't want that either, and we don't want so much of it that it looks you lose interest, right? But what I see here is very tasteful, still whimsical a little bit, not boring and something that you would drive by. So I think that's just the theme, kind of tasteful, whimsy.
Tasteful whimsy. I like
Element of surprise,
Yeah.
unexpected
Yeah.
interest.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
when I drive through a town, no matter if it's new, ancient, whatever, and I go, that's cool. Who
Yeah.
thought of that?
Exactly.
I
I
like-
just want that's cool.
It's a novel idea. It's the element of surprise. I'm a little tired of this cookie cutter bronze park statuary
Right,
that
yeah.
you buy from some company and everybody's got it.
Right.
When I first moved here, I thought, wow, that's really cool. And now, as I've seen it in every other suburban
Yeah.
neighborhood
Nothing.
around the US, I'm like, okay, let's
Be more
not
creative,
do
right.
cookie cutter.
Yeah.
The only time it's really fun is when they put the mittens
Hat?
on the
Yeah.
hats and the scarves in the wintertime around.
But I'm glad it's
Girls in the
I'm
shorts,
glad
you
it's
know.
there
Yeah.
rather than not there.
Right.
Yeah.
The other thing is
We just don't need
multi-use
more.
too. I think, if you can have it as like a bench as well as a piece of art, or like we were looking at the rail ties and there's a bench in it, so you can use it too. You can participate.
To me, that's the cool
What
thing.
Yeah, interact.
Artistic functionality,
Yeah.
didn't we call it?
Interact with the
Yeah.
art.
Or this is maybe a little augmentation of what you said, Rita. You're going to need lots of trash cans
Yeah.
in town center, and the majority of them can be something you buy from somebody, but the occasional one that is this hydrant, or
That's a trash can?
I don't know if it is or not.
It could have been.
Yeah,
It's
but
not,
you get
but
the
it could have
point.
been.
But the
Yeah.
occasional
Or it could be a
one.
fish with a big mouth open.
With-
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
You know.
The occasional one that isn't the standard issue
Trash can.
town center trash can is really clever. And I was in Big Island of Hawaii in some park, and they did have a fish. I wasn't quite, with the open mouth, and I wasn't quite sure it was intended to be a trash can, but it became a trash can.
Yeah.
Did you, on that one sculpture of the tail of the whale, it's kind of cool because if you could, how we have the second roundabout where people will be walking, then you're right, if they can sit there, you have some kind of a light feature at night, so it's not totally dark. And I wonder if kids could even crawl under it kind of thing, so you're sitting there and your kids can crawl under, because if it's.
Are people expected to sit in that Main Street roundabout, or
No.
would that be unsafe?
Okay, that would be
Yeah,
unsafe.
yeah, in the roundabout now, there's no
Okay.
crosswalks.
Then
to
where
it or
does
anything.
the water feature come in that makes
On
it
the
safe?
plaza.
In
the plaza,
plaza.
yeah, surrounded by
Okay.
In front
fly-
of.
fly- you know,
Bill,
restaurants and
Can I
stuff.
give you?
Oh, this is
please.
Boulder?
Because there has been a lot of talk, we're talking more about the present projects in our group, like the roundabout, which is coming up right away. But long-term, we were really hoping for a good water feature
Mhm.
in the Superior Marketplace.
Town center.
Because, town center, I'm sorry, because it's such a draw.
Yeah, yeah,
Such
no,
a
I
huge
wanted
draw.
to, did we find, were you able to find that thing from the FTP?
Keep going.
The last presentation, we do have a nice big pop jet fountain planned right in the middle of the plaza.
Because you know,
with-
you have to get all that,
Yeah.
plumbing in,
Yeah.
into your architecture.
Oh, yeah, no, it
So that's where
it
we want to
costs,
make that
it
point
costs
right
about,
up front.
it costs about $1 million. I mean,
Yeah.
it's in our budget, and it's
Good.
a definite plan.
Good.
Because, and that's really,
Would it be something like, did you see the one at Union Station in Denver?
yeah.
That is very, very popular, and
Yeah.
it's more expansive than the one up in Boulder.
I'm trying to think of that, you know that one better than I do. Is ours pretty similar to that in scale and what it is?
It'd probably be smaller because Union
Ours
Station's
would be smaller.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah.
So that scaled down, but that same concept.
We were talking like I think it was like a 12 or 15 jet fountain, and each jet is whatever, 4
Are
feet apart.
are the jets coming out of the ground?
Yeah, just
or-
a flat ground plane, so when they're off, it's exactly like this.
Good.
When they're
So-
off, it's
so
just a
it'll
flat
be
plane.
Safe for children to
Yeah.
run up, oh, great.
This is
This must
a,
have almost like 24, because each one of these circles has a fountain thing coming up. You know
Yeah,
how they
so-
run on them and they step on
Right,
them
right.
downtown Boulder and stuff?
And is that going to be the only water feature?
Oh,
Yeah.
probably not.
but water features are tough to manage.
I know, I was just thinking
Um,
something more adult at the other end, like a fountain.
Yeah, they're, especially here with the freezing and everything, they break almost immediately.
Right.
And then then they're just, especially if they're like above ground fountains, and then they're just stained, ugly, dry
We
fountains that don't
can't do
work
like
anymore.
the Trevi fountain. I guess.
Yeah.
And with.
Well, that would be good for
seating.
then the homeless transients, not homeless, they choose to be most of us
Right.
here in Superior.
Right.
Then they could use it to bathe in. Just, so.
It's true, no, it's true.
Functionality.
And you also can fill water bottles in room
Yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
it's all potable water, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
There's functionality there. I'm not
Uh-huh.
sure I'll fill a water bottle up with a pop-up thing.
No, no.
We saw one on one of the Pinterest has so many. You do urban, art and architecture, and you
Right.
come up with thousands of pages of cool stuff. That's where we got the rail bench and stuff.
Mhm.
But the one that I saw, and I'd never be able to find it again probably, is that it was just really just on the plaza, a water feature I'm talking about, it's a square, kind of like a curtain of water always going up. And then inside of that was a smaller square, so the kids just ran through it. Instead of having this constant which breaks, the pop-up, the water sprays up and then it goes down and then sprays up, and you have to have some kind of computer timing or something like that. It literally, when it was on, was a square.
Mhm.
The walls of the square were
You
sheets
have
of
to-
water. And you run through it. And it never comes up and down,
Mhm.
because that's where you start getting into the expense and to the detail.
It's super
computerized.
expensive either way. It's not the computer, it's the water treatment.
Mhm.
Because it has to be treated to potable standards, because kids are playing in it and they can't get sick.
Constantly.
And especially if one of them pees on the fountain, which they all do.
Yeah.
And then, it has to go through a filter, it's got a UV treatment thing,
Okay.
it's a crazy treatment. That's
Well,
that's the
but that one
expensive
was
part.
a simple one, it was
Yeah.
really kind of cool where they run through
Yeah.
it.
No, and when
then
it-
they could run around the interior of, and get through the tube.
And when it comes down to actually designing that fountain in detail, there's all kinds of options. And especially because it's computer programmed, you can have one program where it does the pop jet thing, you can have one program where it just does a solid thing, you can play with it. And typically those things will have lights in the bases too, so you can have like a light show at night.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Bellagio fountain.
Yeah.
you
On a
do.
smaller scale.
Something with waves,
like
Bellagio waves to the music.
Just think of DIA, you weren't here when Denver International Airport tried to do that and have mountainscapes and stuff with theirs. They finally took it out after spending millions.
Maybe you
Yeah.
can buy it on the cheap.
It never worked.
So this is a functioning water fountain?
Yeah, this is just something interesting. This is on the Highline Park in New York. I remember it was that moment of surprise when I was there. I didn't know about this until I actually walked the park. But people are having a great time with this because it looks like you're making out with the girl, you know, the water fountain. So there's like a line of people to drink from the water fountain.
Oh, it's a drinking fountain.
It's a drinking
It's a
fountain.
drinking fountain.
So there's water coming out of her mouth.
Yeah, I see that.
Oh, that's fun.
So people are, you know,
okay.
tourists are taking pictures. And
Tourists
it's the
would be
whole,
doing
you know, the
that.
Pinterest.
Not
It's
anybody that lives in.
Oh, I
No, of course.
Yeah.
So as you're drinking, you look like, okay, you're kissing.
Kissing the-
yeah. But yeah,
But
that might be a little racy for Superior, but I like the functionality and the, you know, it's a water fountain. And
That
it's
is-
Oh,
one of the
and-
water fountains. Is,
That's where you could put the prairie dog.
That's a great idea. Very,
Or the
very
dog lifting
drinking
its
fountain.
leg.
the dog.
You can have a dog lifting its leg and.
Yeah, that's right.
Very dog drinking fountain. We're doing
Put
that.
yellow food killer in it.
But it's fun to have
Yeah, that is cute.
at Wildflower Park when the wildflowers were all gorgeous. Literally have, I walk it about every night and people were there taking pictures. They came to take pictures of it. It was great. And one even sat their 4 children in the hillside and took what I'm sure is going to be the Christmas
Right,
photo.
right.
So, I mean, to have something like this that really does make somebody stop and want to take a photo of it.
In Washington DC too, right around Washington, not in Washington, but it might be in Virginia, but there's a pond. And it has a bench that is just undulating up and down. And so the kids can run along it, or the older people, or not older people, adults can sit on
Yeah.
the upper portion of it, and then you go down, and it's pretty cool all the way around the pond. There's so many great
Oh my
ideas
gosh,
for
I know.
benches. It's just never ending.
Just
Yeah.
so many
So
cool.
what is the timeline really for you for these type of things to be installed? So are you looking, 5 years out when we actually have
You know,
the
like
businesses
so much
downtown?
else in the town center, I wish I could tell you a date.
Right.
It really depends on when the commercial
Right, right,
comes,
that's
whether
the
we
thing.
develop it or a partner develops it. You know, I've told the board and in public, Ranch Capital's working on financing a commercial development piece, which would be the actual first retail, the plaza, about 300 residential units and some office space.
Right.
You know, we're working on financing it. It's not a home run killer deal that makes all kinds of money, so it's a little bit tough to find financing, but we're working on it. So as soon as that happens, if I can get that financing broken loose and we start construction, I can put art like this in that budget and it'll go in the next 2 years. If not, and I have to sell the land to another developer who's going to do it, it really depends on their schedule. Could be 5 years, you know, it's totally up to how fast that development goes.
Right, so when you're looking down at the plan, do you already have an idea where you think these things are going to go? I mean, are there
We don't have
obvious
an art.
places?
We don't have an art plan yet, which is
You don't?
something
Okay.
that you know it'd be great to work on with your help, at least on a high level schematic idea front, so that we can kind of start there. We will be working on a sign program over the next 6 months or so, which sometimes kind of crosses over because you can have historical information or signage can also be sort of artwork sometimes. And so we'll be working on a sign program that identifies all the sign locations and some sort of art locations in that. And so that plus an art program will spell out where everything goes. As the town's working on an advanced funding agreement right now to build Parks 1 and 2 ahead of schedule, which would be great. In that case, I think the town's going to work on an FDP for those, and so that art placement in the park could be part of that FDP, or we could do it separately later. You know, I'm pretty open, but you know,
And there's-
now is the time to be talking about it for sure.
And you understand what Bill was saying, that we have suggested as a town that we'll advance the funds to build Parks 1 and 2, and then Ranch Capital through their Superior
Metropolitan
Town
District.
Center Metropolitan Districts 1, 2, and 3 will pay the town back as the tax revenue, the tax increment revenue comes back
Starts
in.
flowing.
So we'll get paid back, but otherwise we'd have to wait until they do development along the park before
Right.
they'll actually be able to build the park.
Well, and the hope is, of course, that it jumpstarts other
Right.
stuff.
Yeah.
Because you said, Rita, tell me if I'm correct, you were here at the time, Purple Park went in early.
First, Purple
Okay.
Park went in first, and the houses were built around it.
Right.
And so for the Parade of Homes, there were 14 or maybe 16 homes in the first Parade of Homes in 1991. 91, yeah. And so you came here for the Parade of Homes, and I don't know if any of the rest of you were
Oh,
here.
yeah, I would do it.
Yeah, I went to it, and so you had Purple Park, and then so on this side, you had like 5 homes up in the Waterford area, and then on the other side of Purple Park, you had like 7 or 8 homes that were built on, whatever that is there.
Heartstrong or?
No, Heartstrong's over here, but anyway, right by Purple Park, you know, the houses kind of back up to Purple Park where so you went to the houses by Purple Park, on the south side of Purple Park, and then you walked through the park, it was gorgeous, the waterfall, the trees,
You can imagine how it was a huge draw.
It was a
And
huge
likewise,
draw.
these parks,
Mhm.
showing the green, you know, I'm so excited about that.
Mhm.
Cold
Now, it-
Creek Corridor
Yeah.
being a real focal point and all that kind of stuff.
Well, and quite honestly, once Main Street's on that, I mean, I've got some real deals that are waiting until that's totally buttoned up to come and tour the site, because they need to
Right.
be able to see how the roundabout works and vision their
Once
building
we
on the
get-
corner.
And I mean,
You can't do that
we've
right
got
now.
the, when we get to that part of the agenda, because I too want to know all the details of the RFP, who it went out to and all that kind of stuff, but we're on a fast track with that bill, that we could have something pretty stunning in the roundabout within a year,
Mhm.
right? And
Right,
then-
Right.
that's
yeah,
the goal.
That's a goal.
By
Yeah.
October of 2018.
Yeah, so, you know, we're shooting for it, and when you start getting some of these cool elements in there, all of a sudden, it doesn't look like a starter project anymore.
Right.
It looks like a serious project.
Well, and even with Main Street Superior, and once the medical office building's done, next to the sports stable, which is like finally pretty buttoned up, it's even now when you walk around.
Frankly,
up
I'm
there-
excited about Impact Sports sign.
I know, it looks good.
How long has that been out? I must have
agree.
missed
I
it.
agree.
Now, does the town, like, for instance, on Main Street, do you have like a plan that's as detailed as to say, we need 20 trash cans, we need 20 bike racks, we need,
that's what I was trying to
you know, all that
get
kind of
to.
stuff?
Yeah,
So
on Main Street
When
we
you're
do.
thinking about it, you're like, okay, we have to get 20 trash
yeah,
cans.
we
How about
have
if
all
5
that.
of them are really interesting, or
Mhm.
bike racks? I mean, is there
Full
some
bike
way to
racks
kind
and
of
all
balance
that.
that or know what we're working with?
And then even the planters and the
Mhm.
bench seating and the trees and all that,
Right.
that's all detailed, we've approved that in FDP.
And the interesting thing is this all becomes wayfinding too. So I'll meet you by the Prairie Dog Fountain.
Right.
I'll meet you on the railroad benches.
Right, right,
You know,
exactly.
they demarcate.
So you are obviously familiar with the RFP and the time for getting the artists to deliver,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah.
if you,
Which can be a challenge, I'll tell
right,
you.
so that's, I guess that logistically, I think that's where we need to know,
Mhm.
where do we fit in and when? Like if you said that you're jump starting the parks, you know, do you have an idea of what is due in the parks, and then what can we do together, and when is the right time to kind of, you know, work together so we can order it, or?
Yeah, I mean, I,
Yeah.
in general, like for the parks, I would say when that FTP is being designed and coming forward to the board for approval, that's when we should be talking
Okay.
about art locations. And, you know, I think because when from when you approve the FDP to when the park's actually done and built, it's gonna be probably about a year. It'll take them 3 months to get a contractor signed up, and then it'll take
At
another.
least a year.
Yeah, no, exactly. Probably 12 to 18 months if everything goes smoothly.
Okay, so that's,
So if you start an art RFP when you approve the FDP for the park, you know, I would think you can have something, because it's going to be the last thing to go in anyway.
But
So I would think that timing actually works out pretty
Katie,
well.
could we make a point of getting this group, the Main Street detail that was in the FDP?
Mhm.
And because that is a real, that's out there already with the appendix that has the trash can design and all that kind of stuff, that's in there. And then likewise, we can get them the link to the park design that Loris put together, et cetera, so they can see.
Oh, Parks 1 and 2.
Parks
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Parks 1 and 2. I mean, it's bold designs. It's really worth
And
seeing.
how do Parks 1 and 2 tie into the Coal Creek corridor
They're right there.
landscaping? Okay, so
Yeah.
Coal Creek corridor is tied into Parks 1 and 2.
Actually, Coal Creek corridor
Tra-
is
What's
going
the
to be done
biceps?
first.
Right.
And we've already approved that,
Right.
the corridor, the creek itself, because we're using open space funding and urban drainage funding
Okay.
for that.
Right.
So that's not out of the TIF or out of the developer's.
That's our,
Budget.
that's
That-
our responsibility, the
Well,
town's
okay,
responsibility.
we wouldn't have had to do anything to it, and they didn't have to do anything. We could have left it the way it is, but we decided we wanted to make it better and create a
walkway.
real experience, a water experience for people. So we've already moved forward and done the planning and the final approval for the creek corridor itself, and it uses open space funds, which we have, and through our tax, our sales tax, and it also uses urban drainage, which is government grants.
And I have-
Is
I
there
haven't-
any way, remember we had the pictures of the sculpture that was the wind, and the wind came through it, or, something
Mhm.
like that, and did musical notes or whatever? Now, is there any areas or places when you're going along the creek there, and you're walking, to put in interesting things that would tie in?
But he doesn't, that's not his
Okay.
domain. That's-
Well, yes
that's-
and no, that would be
Yeah.
in the park, actually. You couldn't put
Oh,
anything in the.
next to the creek.
In the creek itself, you can only
Well,
do.
but next to it.
Yeah, but next to it, that would be the park design. So there's three pieces. There's Coal Creek corridor, the water, and there's going to be, is it 3 step downs? So the water actually will come under McCaslin here, the creek, and then they're going to actually have it step down in 3-foot drops, I think it is,
Something, yeah.
or
Yeah, we'll get that.
4
all to
2-foot
him.
drops, but they're actually making stone, so the water would go over that and it would drop down as it reaches to, they got us go down like 9 feet.
That is the backdrop for these parks.
Okay.
Right.
These two parks, and I'm a happy lady because we originally were not going to do anything to the creek.
Mhm.
And now we're doing major
Because it's such a
things to
gem.
inter.
It's like we have
my
this
quote,
kind of-
It's such a gem.
I mean, it's
It's-
kind of unique, and we have something
No,
that's,
it's
we
gonna
can
be,
play it
it's gonna
up
be
and-
gorgeous.
And
There's
then-
3 waterfalls and low water crossings and
Right.
pathways that weave through,
Right.
and the trees.
And
are there. It's
then,
absolutely gorgeous.
hopefully, because Ranch owns Rogers too, and it continues through Rogers, so it doesn't have to just be a one-trick pony over in the Superior Town
Oh.
Center.
It could go through
That's
Rogers
Coal-
Farm.
That's all
Okay.
Coal Creek,
Up to
so,
2nd Avenue
yeah.
Bridge on that.
But we
side,
do
south
have, this
side.
group has I don't want to get too far afield, we do have an agenda for tonight,
Yeah.
but we're unbounded. I mean, because we can put forth an idea on anything, and if the board gives us latitude, then we can proceed, right?
Mhm.
And
We need
so-
to have, at the next meeting, have the presentation on Parks 1 and 2.
Yeah, I would actually suggest someone print out a full-size plan of that park and just sit around with markers and say, here's a good idea, here's a good idea, here's a good idea.
Right.
Oh, that
And you- and you
would be a
can-
good idea.
And you can
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, we can see it and say, what about this?
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to show you a quick video that walks through the proposed Main Street, and I think it'll show the Pop Jet fountain, just so you can see what we're talking about, and then we can,
Where'd you
Why
find
that
all
on a
those
disk
trees,
drive?
though, that you were showing there?
there's trees.
When you first started this off, that's good.
Okay. That's
We're Tree City, USA.
stock,
Yeah,
that's
but that was
probably
us.
stock video from our,
Yeah, that
from
was
our,
us.
from our marketing group.
I did it today.
Okay, so
Really
this is what
So
intense.
this is Main Street.
Oh, cool.
This is Main Street. We just passed,
This is when all
Marshall.
the artificial
Are we
intelligence
going
and robots
east or
take
west
over.
here?
going
Yes.
west,
Yeah,
that's
they
the
have
sports
that.
stable in the
We have
background.
Okay.
So this is the
Outside
plaza
west.
in the background. That's actually the fountain you can see in the distance there. Again, so this is panning to the east now. The sports stable's on our left. This is the plaza, and it's actually might stop a little soon. The idea is to have a fountain right. Yeah, it's actually stopped a little soon.
What's that building in the front, totally in the front? What's that?
This would be an office building with retail on the ground floor.
Oh, okay.
And then the fountain actually goes in this central plaza
Right where that
area.
guy
You
is.
just can't
That's
pan
Central
quite
Plaza,
right.
okay.
Yeah.
Is the plaza going to be concrete or is it going to be pavers?
This would be concrete. This would be grass. So it's like the idea is that it's a bermed seating area that you can have a picnic on.
And these-
This is the edge of what we're currently building, FDP 1 Phase 1. So the sidewalk will be in by the end of this year, along with all these planters and benches and lights.
Those are the, oh,
Yeah, everything from here over to here will be in by the end of this year.
Is that the brick we see right now that
That's-
goes
Well,
from?
this little section here is the brick you see right now.
Okay.
We're building this additional parking area right now. It's not out there yet.
Okay, so
And then
what
we're
we see
also
now is just
building,
that,
yeah,
okay.
what you see now is just this 20-foot wide driveway.
Okay,
Um,
the yellow brick road.
And so the idea was that this is turf, this is
Okay.
concrete, and then this is like pavers around the backside here for like a seating area that, you know, is a little bit lower traffic and can hold up better. This is the Wonderland product that they're framing out right now. You can see this is their roof decks, and that's a proposed multifamily building with ground floor retail in the background.
Add some roofs on that there. No.
Oh, you want pitched roofs?
Yeah.
Roof lines,
Okay.
yes. Are you confused about my desire for roofs? Pitch?
It doesn't look anything
Whatever.
like what we were given and approved in the final development.
So wait, so-
We'll talk about that when it comes time to talk
Plaza,
about
so,
that.
okay, so here's.
There's the fountain.
There's the fountain,
Yeah.
and we're looking west, can you see the mountains?
Yep.
So, interesting. Okay, I'm trying to visualize. So this is going towards the creek when you're going up to the right?
Yeah, the creek would be behind
Is
this
that
building.
Bertolucci's right there, kind of? Is that what?
No.
No, that'd
But
be behind us.
you could be standing,
If you,
it's
yeah.
back here where
If
we're
you're-
sitting.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Brunelleschi's?
Is that Brunelleschi's?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's going to rapidly be called Bruno's, and then we're going to get
Yeah.
confused with Bruno's Pizza.
So the sports table is to the left. You can see it, the tower of it right there, but it's off to the left. And then this is Main Street again with the mountains in the background and
And then the plaza?
the plaza
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good
with retail around it.
sweep of it there.
That is a good sweep of it. Was that on that little thumb drive business card thing?
I think so.
Or
I think it was.
can you email it to us?
Yeah, no, I'm pretty sure it was on that thing, but
Okay.
I'm happy to.
I have a
Somebody reminds
question.
me.
Is there, it looks like there's a lot of variety, like a big black square frame building, lots of glass, and then over to the right here, well, in the middle, there's some little shades, you know, down like the last century, and then to the right of that are some windows that have little decorative framing around them, like old Dutch, you
Mhm.
know, brickwork. Is it all going to be very, like, this building is totally different from that building, that's totally different from that building, that's totally different from
The
that
idea
building?
here, at least, and again, none of this has been approved, all of this will have, all the buildings will have to come to the board in a final development plan and be approved and talk about architecture and everything. The idea here is that these are relatively different buildings, as if it were a downtown that had developed over 100 years, where you would have older buildings that look like this, they're two-story brick.
Kind
you
of
have
organic
and
almost.
Yeah, and you have newer buildings that are glass and steel, and they all kind of blend together to make this place. And again, instead of doing them all a single
That would
cookie
be
cutter
cool.
style,
So
like
this
it's.
is just a simulation.
Yeah, but none of this has been approved.
But-
So this will all have
We
to,
have,
Well, I know that the board and the trustees have talked about image and branding, and I'm seeing, you know, way eclectic different architectural styles.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if,
I do too.
I could go on for the rest of the meeting.
okay, you get my point.
Katie, could you attach the design guidelines document? So we spent a great deal of time on the design guidelines, and I think it's fair to say some trustees are concerned about these elements and other trustees aren't. And I'm one that is. And I am not kidding, I'm very interested in articulation and roof lines and whatnot.
Well, what is it going to look
Um,
like and that feeling and?
When I go through and they're all over the place, go to Arista where everything's just chopped on
Oh,
crop
yeah.
top. They're a crop
So-
top.
It's so boring. You're
And
just-
this is
yeah.
beautiful.
I love that.
So we'll be talking
That
a
is
lot.
beautiful.
Lot more.
It almost
There's
makes me
lots
think
of
of
work
the
for us to do.
Escher.
Yeah, it does look
Mhm.
like an issue.
I mean, it doesn't look like it, but it makes me think of it.
Yeah.
And that is beautiful, but I don't want to use, but I would like and I think we should keep in mind is the multi-use for the art, you know, so like this is good to look at, but I don't think children could climb on it.
Could be very
You know,
dangerous.
take flight from that.
Let's
You
give you
can
that
do things that
circular
are
one
more
there, because I
interactive
want,
rather than
Bill,
just
have
to
you
look at
seen
them.
the circular one that sort of got us all excited?
Oh, here, look at this one, this one
Yeah.
is.
That got us all
Well,
excited.
this is one we
like-
saved from Ben,
Okay.
Okay.
and it was bronze. What was, Marcia, what was the one, the guy in Sedona? His was his all bronze or
No,
was it steel?
his was iron.
Iron, yeah.
But have you seen the one from Sedona that got us all excited?
I think I've seen it, but I don't really
Yeah,
remember it.
we can call it up. Isn't it on here?
It's on there.
Yeah.
Scroll.
But that, I like that one too with the horse. I like a lot of these.
Well, I sent you guys the Eye of the Needle, the one in Stapleton. That's really cool because it's iron and
Look at
stone.
this.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's a big
The
one.
Stavely footbridge. Wow.
That is so cool.
Okay, so going forward, so I think the next step is keeping us in the loop for the next approved projects, and then we can isolate, you know, ideas for whatever you're working on, because we could go, like that bridge is super cool. So if you show us the plans and say, okay, now's the time, what do we have the budget for, what are we going to put in, you know, well, can we put something over the creek, and then we can kind of target and.
Well, what is cool about that bridge is the rail theme.
Yeah.
The mining sort of thing comes to me, if it's just because of the metals and all that kind of stuff, but it's more contemporary. And so Bill likes contemporary, and I do think this, while you want to blend some old in it, you do want, so there, that's, wow, I'm really liking that.
So what's the timeline for us?
Can I
Well,
throw
Oh,
something
yes.
in first? So those bridges, is it Matrix is doing your parks 1 and 2, or is it Laura's?
Laura's.
So there's already elements there that you may want to be talking to
Right.
them about.
Okay.
And it's my experience,
That's nice.
you want to maybe start pre-qualifying artists now and signing some artists up, since you're going
Okay.
to have multiple pieces, and say, I like your style, then you go to the artist and see what they present you, and start yesterday, because I don't know how many projects we've done, and we don't get to integrate the art with the design because we have dates to meet and construction dates to meet. So like Main Street, we already have to put in all the trash cans, bike racks, benches, everything by December.
So this is what we need to, right.
I would start pre-qualifying artists now
Okay.
and because it's going to take you all a lot of time to decide what you like, and so they can bring ideas to you, and then you can start plugging in and be a little bit ahead of the development process, and Bill jump in.
Yeah, well, that was the same thing I was going to say when we were talking about the RFP in the last meeting was, I think there were, and I'd like to go over the timeline again, there might have been some pieces missing just because typically we'll issue an RFP for artists. We'll typically, you know, I've given them, I think like 2 months in the past to come back with a preliminary idea, sketch, whatever. It doesn't have to be fancy or, you know, it's whatever they want to bring you in 2 months. And then you know, collect, hopefully, 6 to 10 ideas, and that helps, and you can go look at those artists' work, that helps guide your process, and you can kind of make a decision at that point. Then you assign one of those artists to go ahead and start working on it, and it'll take them a year. Artists are slow and hard to manage.
Do you ever just, for example, we all love that bridge there.
Bridge. You can
right?
just go directly to them and buy one.
Go to the person who did it, but to me, it's, when I write something, I don't start from scratch,
No.
So why is it we don't present a assortment of images that we are inspired by and let them take it from there? Because the interesting thing on the roundabout, we all seem to warm to round and arch, this gateway thing, we don't really want to overdo arch things because we've got 2 bridges already. But, So if somebody comes with everything square, maybe we should tell them we're inspired by what is it? What's the circle called?
Organic.
Yeah. I happen to love this dandelion thing.
I think that's awesome.
I like we were.
And I love
wanted to
stuff
put
like
those in
this
the
because
park behind our
it's
house.
not overdone, it's not kitsch, it's like,
Yeah.
it's something from life, and it's just
I love it.
grand
I
scale.
love the
and-
motion. with-
And really well done, and with the things flying off. I mean,
yeah.
this is an excellent sculpture.
We have to have something like that in the parks.
Yeah.
So is the idea to, I guess where I would come from
That
is,
Lodestar.
we need
that one right there.
one big statue, we
No,
need
that-
one
that
bridge
wasn't the
thing,
one, I'm
we
sorry,
need
there's another
5 benches. I mean, that's the list that I feel like otherwise I
We
could say,
have to
I
cre-
like
but we
these
have to-
10
Yeah.
statues,
I think
where
we
can
have to
put 'em?
create that list.
Yeah, okay.
I think you as the art committee create that wish list.
Okay.
And then as we're working through the real design and the real budgeting, we have that list to work from to try to work into things.
Okay.
Um,
Because you're giving us the overall plan, so we can.
Yeah.
we'll
You
Look
have
at it
your
on the
reference.
table and say, oh, how about here we
Great.
have a butterfly
And that's
bench?
just, that's just for the
okay.
parks, you know,
Okay.
maybe next time you can get your helpful staff member to bring a full-scale
I have one of them.
park plan and maybe an overall development plan for the whole town center, so that you can think about, and again, it's a wish list. They're not all gonna go exactly where you want them to go. We might not be able to afford all of
Okay.
them, but it's a wish list with, again, themes. So we like bridges. Here's where we're going to have bridges. Maybe there's an opportunity to do this kind of a thing. Here's, there's parks. We like a couple of just plain sculptures that are just plain sculptures, and here, and here would be good places for those, and these are the kind of things we like for that. And
We're
then
so
the
busy.
roundabouts. I know, you got a lot of work to do. The roundabouts, here's the two roundabouts, and
We're
here's
going to
what we
have to
like for
have
the
a meeting a
roundabouts.
week.
I think we need to do.
There,
just-
that's it.
There it is.
That's the
This
one.
one?
Yeah.
That's-
Just to be clear, though, yeah, that's the one that you.
And can we
brought
show
us
him
in.
the whole, the thing it's sitting on?
I was going to say, is the idea to make this the superior logo? in
I
here?
know, it
'Cause
does kind of blend in.
It's
It
exactly.
kind of looks like it.
It does look exactly like it.
Actually, he
And
sent
Rita
us
even
over-
tells us we have some nesting herons in.
We do. My
Superior.
grandson is named Heron because
yeah,
of the
I've seen
blue herons that nest here. His mother was pregnant with him, and there was a nesting blue heron. They said, that's a cool name, and they named their son. He turned 16 on Sunday.
See, personally, I would rather see like a heron like flying out of the ground or
I
something
agree.
like,
Yeah.
rather than the kind of static heron in a circle thing. Like I like this kind of, not the bowling theme, but that kind of
The
idea
motion.
where it's it's so interesting. It's like coming out of the ground, and it's
Right, right.
I agree with you.
Yeah,
there's so much energy in it. It's not just this static
That's what even
horse
with the-
bronze thing.
And
this one too. It's
Feels like
more-
it's the motion.
Got a lot more movement.
These, I'm not personally as into like the wind
No.
chime things, just because again, whenever anything moves, it just adds complication and tends to break.
Something like that one over there, if it lights up, the one to the right-hand side here.
Which one?
The right-hand side.
Right
Which,
hand.
The-
which direction do you go? The right
The,
there.
is
What
it
that
an
thing?
allium? What is it?
Well, this is the
Allium
same.
Plant?
The dandelion?
Yeah, that's the same. I think it's the same
Oh,
dandelion
that's so
one. It's just a close up of it.
No, it's a little.
No.
Maybe it's a different one.
But if that lights up at night, that's kind of cool too.
That
would be cool.
be cool.
But I think, let's keep in mind though, that the main street, they've already got that, they're already doing that. If there's things that the committee would like to recommend to them to add to, or maybe to change out, but they've already got that FDP, final development plan has been approved.
But adding art is, can be outside of the
Yeah.
FDP. The FDP is just laying down the basic framework, the sidewalks in the street.
Yeah, I
We can always add
I don't
art,
think
we can
we're
always add bike
constrained at
racks
all.
now.
No.
We-
I'm
we
not, I'm
will-
not saying that we're gonna go back, I think I heard, when Bill was talking about the parks 1 and 2, to go and say, not to go back and redesign all the benches and all the trash cans.
I
on
like
Main
this
Street.
nail one over on the left.
Where?
Which one?
As it
one?
comes
All the way to the
alive
left?
too, you're going to see,
Oh, the nail.
in front of this place, and then, over time.
As long as there's not a coffin below
Right,
it.
that's very.
You know, the other day,
Oh, gosh.
we were in Longmont, and you're walking down Main Street in Longmont,
Yeah.
which actually has incorporated a lot of art in Longmont on Main Street. On one of the sides of their new buildings, they have, it's like by Roosevelt Park, and they have this sculpture that's like kind of hanging off the side of a building.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, you're walking down the side, and you're going, whoa, that's pretty cool. So it's not even in a regular place, it's,
Well, like in
Hanging
Seattle,
on the
if they
building.
have like a fish going through the top of the building.
Right,
on
or
the side,
something.
you know? It's like it's fish flew through the side of the building.
Well, because when you're in Seattle at the Pike Place Market and they throw the
Right,
fish.
Yeah, exactly, that's what they have, the market.
Okay, what time is it? Okay, it's 7, so,
I have a
um,
question for Angie.
wait.
You mentioned pre-qualified artists. We would love to have a database of artists, but we don't. How do we pre-qualify artists when we don't have a database?
Well, your RFP, I mean, I would think that these artists are on the hunt for work, right? So I think from the people who respond to your RFP, you're going to say, you're going to say, no, we're not interested because you only do the bronze sculptures or whatever. So and maybe you keep that, you have your first list and then you put out another RFP and you ask for more.
Okay.
Well, and also it's looking
Another
like things like this, find out who this artist is
Yeah,
and put them on your
right.
list.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
page that you're looking at, where is
This is
that?
this is all our
Daryl's stuff.
Pinterest.
This is Pinterest.
And Daryl's
That's
pictures
right
are on
there.
there.
Cool,
This is,
say
yeah,
that
this
one.
is
Is this
Daryl's.
Daryl's page?
Yeah, we've added to it, like the
Yeah.
aliens or whatever,
Okay.
the flower
'Cause
things.
we should really make a list of these artists that we like and make sure that they get a copy of our RFP.
Oh, that's a good idea.
The other thing too is you might tap into your community. I don't know about the method of doing that, but have people informally submit what they like, and then that'll give you more things to choose from. So you have your database, and then
Everybody in
You're talking
Superior is
about
sending
art
us
now?
art.
but not that many people are going to, you know.
I thought you were saying, find all the artists in Boulder and Longmont and
Well,
Denver and whatever.
Well, that too,
It
it's
would
nice to have
be-
To make
local
sure they get
artists.
our
It-
RFP.
Yeah, it would be a good way to let the community know that you're thinking about this.
Sure.
And then someone might
They
know.
might know, they might know.
I'm not saying you have to accept things that people turn in, but it might do some of the work for you.
Too. Might be a source of information. Oh, that's good. Oh, and then, the last thing before Bill and Bob and everybody leaves, but, yeah, we're keeping you to the end of the meeting, so, but, no. Yeah, the artwork at the Elements Hotel, do you have anything to
that's
do
right.
about that?
So it's not, it's not my property and it's not that's not my deal. They are planning on, I talked to Jordan about it, who owns, who is managing Glacier House. They are planning on doing a sculpture in front. He doesn't know exactly what it is yet. They're also looking for ideas, so if you have, that's, another thing that you can
Maybe we
put
need to
on your
invite
map.
Jordan to a meeting.
Who is Jordan?
Sure.
For the elements.
Jordan's the owner of Glacier House Hotels. He's the developer of the
Well,
Element
could
Hotel.
you ask him, or?
Sure.
someone
Well, I
could-
talked to him about it already.
I mean, ask him to come here,
Oh,
or
yeah.
to have a conversation with this group,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
what I'm talking about.
Because if people don't know, if you're, what's Jordan called to you? Not a,
He's a builder,
He's a partner developer.
yeah.
if they don't know we exist, they don't even know
Yeah.
to come here.
No, and I
He does,
did tell
though,
him I was
because
coming here to the
presentation,
group.
though, we said that very
Right.
precisely, that we have a CAPS group that wants to be involved in
And he
helping
was excited
you.
about it.
And he was excited that.
That person was
or whoever
excited.
was
I don't
there.
even know if it was Jordan.
That was Jordan.
Yeah, we talked, Daryl's not here, but she talked about us just creating a resolution sort of letter. Let's send the Elements a letter saying, you may not be aware of Superior has a CAPS committee, and we would love to be of service for you when you are at the point of deciding exterior sculpture. Please do.
That's where I wanted him to do the
Yeah,
groundhog.
can we like, put a letter together that gets in writing?
I told him to do the groundhog.
I mean, seriously, can you imagine?
I think it would be great.
Hey, or more than one?
Yeah.
Yeah, like the family
Awesome.
sitting out
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so
I
good.
think that's-
Someone might also call, Louisville, Longmont, Lyons, they all have good
I
art
actually
programs.
just
Call-
sent them all emails.
Oh, you
Well-
did? Okay, so see how,
That's great.
because they've been doing this for years, and they might have a list you can.
Well, I know that Daryl talked to Lafayette. Did you talk to the person at Stapleton? Did you give, because I emailed you
No,
her
I
information.
talked to the Colorado Council on the Arts and Humanities.
Okay, because this barber person from Stapleton, when I talked to their developer, who was Tom Gleason, he said she's amazing, and they have 25 pieces of art in Stapleton, and they even have like a page on the Stapleton website of a map of where all the art is and who they are, and it's pretty cool how they've
So
done
can you
it.
see all the art in Stapleton on the website?
Uh-huh.
Good.
So they, I mean, it's,
Could we maybe
I'll be
have
happy
a
to. Will you
presentation
call her?
of
I
that
will.
at the next
I will.
CAPS meeting?
yes, on this barber
On Sta-
person.
Stapleton
Barbara
art.
Neal.
Barbara Neal at Stapleton. They have a art person.
Yeah, boy, that would be nice, just, but can we, is it a good time, Melinda, to talk about the RFP and?
Yeah, I was
how-
going to go in.
How many places has it been distributed?
Yeah, let's go to that. And we need to approve, let's see if everyone likes the idea of the $425 for the.
Already did it.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, that's a no-brainer to me. I think
Well, it's a process, so.
Right.
But it was approved to put it on that cafe
Yeah.
thing?
Yeah,
Okay.
so I will
Oh,
put it on
good.
Cafe, but I first had to email them and they have to give me a demonstration before they'll let me put it on their website. So that'll be done in the next couple days. Cafe's the big website.
Goes all over the
call for
US.
artists, yeah.
that's
So,
good.
Well, and if,
yeah,
and
so
if,
it was
okay.
$425, but
Well, Jane, you sent me and I'll send them over to Katie.
yeah, and
You
I
sent me
sent
like 10 of
them
them.
to.
Yeah, I have a copy too, and I also have my contact at the Denver Art Museum who's out of the country, but he will also let me know, it's actually, you have to pay to subscribe to it, but it's an RFP. But anyway, this is just a general, you may already have these, but I can pass that down over to you.
Oh, okay,
Because if we're going to meet any deadline,
right.
this RFP has to hit everybody right now.
Yeah.
And it's on our website. I sent the link out to everyone. Did everyone get it? Please send the link to
But no,
whomever you
we've got
want.
to, we can't rely on people coming to our website. We've got to make sure that we know everywhere to send it, and we do it quickly.
Yes.
And have we done that?
Yes, I'm doing,
Okay.
whoever people have given me,
Okay.
I have sent it to everyone.
Okay, like my friend in Chicago, she
Yep.
sent a whole bunch, she's had probably 10 or 15.
Yes, I've sent it to everyone
Okay.
that you guys have sent to
And
me.
if-
I just kind
and
of created a
James.
blank email and I just send it off.
Okay.
Okay.
Reagan has it from Sedona. So just send, I mean, that's why I asked for all of the people because I mean, the more we get, the more. I sent an email to Longmont, Lafayette, Louisville, they're kind of art people. If they have other places that we should be posting, if they know of artists, if they know of lists that they have, so they'll.
Yeah, I get tons of emails from the Boulder Artists Consortium or whoever, all these telling me of their upcoming shows and everything like that. So there are countless local and regional
So there was one.
artist groups.
Well, the
That I
one that
had
got
to
Stapleton,
email.
he's really well known. I sent you that website on Ivan, what was his last name? Oh my gosh.
I sent it to him too.
He's done the entryway into the new hotel at DIA.
Oh.
And actually Daryl in Vermont was visiting one of his artworks outside
Weston?
Burlington, Vermont.
You mean Ned Can?
No.
But like I said, if you guys have artist names, you know, I sent the link out. And I sent the link directly to the RFP, so they don't have to try and search for it, so that they can go right to it.
Right. How many people have, are we counting how many people
I have a list so
look
far.
at our, what's that called? Our
Oh,
opening
Google
area?
Analytics,
Yeah,
that type. Who's actually clicking on it?
Yeah.
I can pull it up. I'll have to look. So, and then I've kind of just kept a running list of everyone that I sent it to as well. So.
Do you, following up on your suggestion, if we know on our Pinterest site that we really like this artist, do we forward it to you or make a list, or can we help
and
you in any way with that?
If you send it to me, like I said, I just created like a
Okay.
blank little email, just kind of explaining who we were, what we were doing,
Okay.
and the link directly to the RFP.
Okay,
So if you
so if
send
we
me
like a
artists-
certain artist that we found, just send it over to
Send
you.
it to,
Okay.
yeah, I think it would be better if you send it.
Send it to
instead of
Kate,
Then I can
everybody's
add it,
sending
then I
it,
can add it to my
your
list.
list, yeah.
have them out.
Okay.
That's
Okay.
very knowledgeable about
Right.
groups of artists.
Okay.
Have they all received this?
Not
Do you
yet.
have the agenda?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Bill, what are you here for if it isn't?
Yeah,
We lost our agenda, but that's
Yeah.
okay.
You gotta keep our.
Where'd it go?
And if you, I think you took it
That's
up on
okay.
one of the things, so if you want me to drive, I can,
Okay.
if you're.
You can drive.
So yes, if you guys know of any other groups or anything, send them up to me, but.
Let me just interject, also, in talking with the people in Sedona, they said that, not everybody that's a great artist is so great on the internet. And so they also
Right.
sent blurbs to the local newspapers.
Oh.
And so she's
Well,
suggested
I did talk, we can send out an e-blast if we want to send out an e-blast.
to the newspapers.
But NEBLAST doesn't, she's saying a press release,
Yeah.
more of a press release that gets published in local media, which I think is a great idea.
Or if nothing else, we can, yes.
In a matter of fact, we could get news coverage of this
Yeah, we
by
could.
calling Anthony Hahn, or who covers us and whatnot. He'll do a feature on this commitment to art.
That's a
And-
good idea.
And tie into Superior downtown and get you some press too.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
They build out of the town center.
And making the rounds of those local newspapers will snare up artists and get them into our database.
Mhm.
It'll be really instrumental moving forward, because it's always better to try and work with a local artist, you know.
Is
for-
there a good time to do
for,
that? When
you know,
is
to-
the Main Street
you know,
do the
logistics
functional?
of producing art and
September,
deadlines and
October.
stuff. It's
Oh,
better
that's
to
too
have
late.
local people.
Or that
I thought there was a
one.
subgroup of this group that is Artist Registry.
Well, who is, right, so
Angela.
Angela. but we
Angela
know
was.
Angela's-
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, well, we need to restart that effort, I think. That's.
Well, we're getting a lot of good ideas,
Yeah.
if nothing else,
Right.
with Jane and all these people like that that are feeding them through to us, so it's
But
not like.
I think we, rather than firing things at Katie on the fly like this, I would suggest that interested people meet in a separate meeting between now and the next meeting, sooner rather than later, because Marcia has this project on an extremely tight timeframe. And every week we lose, not getting this published across the world, is a week we are behind.
Well,
And so I
May
would.
is the RFP out yet?
Mhm.
Yeah.
And has there been response? Have you?
Well, I mean, it's hard to, I haven't gotten any questions.
Okay.
And I know they haven't received any, which I didn't figure, it just went out last week.
Oh,
It was just
okay.
approved and went out last week, so.
Yeah.
But
It is approved, though. I mean, it's ready to go wherever it can go to get people to respond.
right.
So if we were to do this press release for circulation, is there something that is recently or will be completed in downtown where we could be interviewed there for pictures outside? so
I
we
think the
can do it in
roundabout,
conjunction?
we could be photographed with the Bear roundabout,
I
because
think
now
that's-
it's open.
yeah, yeah.
Now, and it's a call for art in this empty space, you know, so
And the
Bill
view,
could be
like,
there.
with the Main Street coming down. Yeah,
One of
how
you
do- how
guys
do
can
we
be there, et
go forward
cetera.
with that?
And maybe we take it from the photos taken with the mountains in the backdrop, like from Main Street perspective to the mountains.
Right, from Main Street,
And,
yes.
but I think we need a separate meeting, Katie and a couple of interested people who know media and know how to get things out there, et cetera. I think.
And do that
Yeah.
ASAP too,
Right.
because there are all the, you know, contacts and they're cultural people in the Denver Post or the Daily Camera or whatever are gonna have their schedules, and you have to meet with them, and then they have to get it scheduled for publication, so.
Yeah, so if we were to have a picture to be in the press release, is that something that you would be the representative for, or do you need to be?
We could actually, rather than contacting one,
Take our own picture?
did I tell you I have a strategic communications business? We've done this professionally. We could actually have a press conference
Okay.
on the bricks
Oh,
on
that's a
Main
good
Street,
idea.
where
Yes,
we
I was
have
trying
more
to-
than one reporter there to just announce this whole project and see
Okay.
if we can't get Longmont Times Call and Boulder Daily Camera and somebody from
Denver
the
Post.
Post and whoever. And
Clint was just, they had a picture taken out in front of the, and
Yeah.
that was in the Business Journal or something, wasn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, so, you know, in front of the construction that's going on, rather than just a pile of dirt and, you know, to actually see some.
that was a good
activity.
article,
Yeah, so you could do another one of those, saying, now we want art for this,
Yeah, we need a press conference.
this
Right.
business.
And
Okay.
I'll be here, I mean, I'm happy to be there if you'd like me there.
Yeah.
I don't feel like I have to be if you want to do it without me.
Well, you got a local guy here
I'm
too.
open. Yeah, Bob can stand in for me, that's no
You're
problem.
local too, right?
Yeah.
So that's all fine. I will be here for you guys are doing a tour of the townhomes on the
August.
9th.
Yeah, that may be a,
So I'll be here for that.
that may
if
be
that
a
makes
great
sense.
That's the
to
time to
shoot
do
for.
it. That would be a good time to do it. The 8th of August is when we're doing that.
That press conference to announce.
And
August,
the town has a subcontractor, I think Kirsten, what's her last name?
Grimaldi.
And she's done some great work, and she knows media. And so I'm sure, I suspect very assuredly that Matt Magley would not have any problem with this effort.
So just to clarify, the artist registry, we've got to get that up and running. So,
Who is
What's-
that?
what's our-
Karen? I think it was Karen and Angela.
but what's our next step on that? Just so we make sure that doesn't fall through the cracks in the next.
Well,
couple weeks.
I do think we need to address, we have a committee of 9 people, and
Right.
it seems to me that one person has a persistent inability to be here, so we've got to get a 9th person here who can, and then we'll make space for this particular person when the schedule frees up.
Oh, the other thing
So-
is that we always said we were gonna have subcommittees, so we need
Right.
to form a subcommittee, you know, that whoever the 2 people from, let's say 2 people from the committee will lead that effort, and then have others.
I
that
actually thought
get-
Daryl was the lead on the artist registry.
It was Angela,
Yeah.
With Angela? Okay.
and I think
so-
Karen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And so you go back to that and say, okay, who's gonna do it? You have to
Yeah.
take the lead, you have to get other people to help you, create that,
Right.
whatever it is, a way to actually go online and self-register too. We talked about that, so
Right.
let's do that at the next meeting, let's firm up how we get all these
Well,
people.
no, it's gotta be out.
We've got to meet as soon as people can meet.
Yeah,
To
can't
sort
wait
of,
another month.
Well,
Yeah.
but we're not gonna wait for a registry of artists in
Right.
order to get the RFP out. The RFP is gonna help fill the registry of artists.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying, it's not like we have to do that before we can go any further
yeah,
down
we've
the
got to
road.
get the strategic plan here for how to promote this RFP done
Right,
post haste.
and that doesn't require the registry to be up and running, right? Okay,
Right.
all right. Okay, next.
Okay.
If you guys don't want to stay for the rest of the rest.
I'm happy to. I'll
Okay.
let these guys go if you guys want to, if there's nothing else that we need them for, if you guys are okay with that.
Feel free to come back
Yeah.
anytime,
Thanks.
4th Thursday, 6 PM.
Yeah, especially when we start working on the Parks 1 and 2, it'd be great to,
Yeah.
you know, to take a look at that original plan that had some ideas and then get your expertise and
And we have
recommendations.
your information, we have everybody's information.
I have your guys' email, so I can
Mhm.
Yeah, and
I can scan the card. if
We need to get
you
your card still,
wanna
don't
do
we? That just triggered my.
That's a good,
Yeah.
Triggered my memory.
Task
Yeah,
list.
that's on your agenda.
Well, I asked
Anyone
our,
else who
Yeah,
wants
perfect.
Just give them the one.
I asked
Yeah.
Colin to do that already, but I don't think they
And maybe-
listened to me.
Thanks for coming.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you.
guys for
so
coming.
much.
We always
You
leave
take
this
one of
meeting
these.
exhausted because our brains are,
Because we drive you nuts? Yeah.
no, don't you, with all the ideas?
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
Thank
I
you.
really do think we need to
Talk
meet
to you
once
soon.
every week.
Okay, so we need to
Definitely
move
more often. I'm
on
worried
to
about
the
this.
CAPS hat. I don't,
Okay, I have the information
Okay.
on it. This is something Daryl added, so she sent me all the info. I'm just pulling it up right now. So with the hat, this is the actual cap
The
that
cap's
you guys
cap.
want. I know. Martin had to laugh at me.
That's what
He's like,
this
what
is."
is that?
It's so good.
We're looking for a sponsor.
yeah,
Remember that? We had fun and looked
I
at.
should have left.
yeah.
We're looking for a sponsor, so Randy.
Yeah.
With the logo.
I think the
on it.
town will sponsor this. We're gonna say ranch for the good
Cap's
stuff.
Okay, actually, let me pull these in. So,
Oh, no.
you know, she had kind of the colorful logo, and they will only print 4 colors, and it had too many colors, so.
Oh, gosh.
I know. So So let me throw these in the folder real quick so that I.
While you're pulling those up, do you think we should be at the Superior Night Out? Or should
Yes,
we-
Yes.
that's actually August 1st.
First,
Yes, sorry.
next Tuesday.
I think I told Beer Fest.
Is that the?
We have a
Okay.
banner, right? And this is,
Do we have a banner?
No, but I
You-
can.
okay, well,
August 1st is the night out, and I know that's well attended.
Well
Where is
attended.
that going to be?
and
Where-
Community Park.
it's very successful
Yes.
having a poster board there, a sandwich board, asking for ideas, and this woman was Angie, right? Before I
Yes.
call her the wrong name like I did Melinda. She, anyway,
Promotion.
that could be a good idea for that, is to ask residents ideas on artwork or creative whatever, and where, and whatever.
Okay.
And
So we'll be there for promotion that night. Do you want to ask for ideas, or do you want to have some ideas already there?
Which is
What do you
next
find-
week.
Are you guys gonna do like a table or something?
I was going to go,
'Cause
because we've always gone
yeah,
with the
we'll have to ask.
grandkids, but
I mean, Jim won't care, but
ask him?
yeah,
Okay,
just like where to go and stuff.
tell me what to do. We have the
Okay.
caps. I can be there.
I don't know if we'll have the
We
caps
won't,
by
will we have the
then.
caps?
No, you won't have the
we
caps.
Oh, okay.
won't have the caps on Tuesday.
But do you want, like, you're right, the sandwich board? I think last time we had like poster board, which wasn't super effective. I like the idea of having a sandwich board kind of
Yeah,
thing.
definitely.
So they can actually have a front and a back to it, and, you know, it won't blow away. And Okay, I'll take care of that
Okay.
for August 1st.
Just, yeah, talk to Katie.
Okay.
She does these things all the time, and Patrick does them all the time, and
What's the bottom colors?
Okay, so let me pull back her email now and see what her questions were. Okay, you can each pick out your own hat color, but, so you'll have to see,
Do they have sizes too, or is it just one
no,
size?
I think it's just one size. So you have to pick out, which one you like.
One size is too small.
And when do we have to
Well,
can we just do it
number
now?
1, 2, or 3.
you just have to tell them how you guys vote on.
Two.
Blues, purples, or
Okay, so
oranges?
those are the logo colors. They're your hat colors.
So we have to
Oh, we
vote
can
on
choose our-
the logo color.
Yes,
And
Okay.
then-
knowing
pick
that
your own
these are your
hat.
hat colors.
Yeah, that should come first.
Yes.
You don't have overlays of every logo on every hat?
Yes, exactly. We want every combination.
The sponsor will do that.
Yeah.
Here, how about I do
We
this? Hold
already
on,
agreed
hold
on
on.
the yellow ones, didn't we agree?
Oh, that's nice,
That
yes,
better?
the
There
split
you go.
screen, okay.
There you
Didn't
go.
we already agree on the yellow?
I thought we did agree
You
on
can
the
pick
yellow
whatever
one.
color you want.
Well, but
each
it won't go-
person.
Each.
Oh, I think it would be good to have everybody.
I think
have the
everybody
same
needs the
color.
same color, so they see a
Yeah.
yellow hat with the caps logo.
Did we decide on yellow?
Yeah,
Oh, we did,
I
okay.
kind of thought we did.
I did too.
Well, it stands
It
out.
was the only one that.
Yeah.
Yes, because we will like to have men on this committee too, and
Eventually,
Hopkins
yeah.
may not go.
Yeah, sure, I would.
So we're gonna do the, oh, we're talking
I
about
think
the
the
yellow
yellow's
number
fine.
3, not the yellow hat. Because if we do the yellow hat, then
Pull
number
the hat
3 is
colors
not
up,
gonna
yeah,
stand
yeah,
out as
bigger.
much because
Right.
there's,
I think number 1 would look best on a yellow hat.
I love number 1.
yeah, number 1.
I'm,
Okay.
number
so
1
you're-
is
you're on
my colors.
sunshine hats,
Yellow hat?
yellow
And Kitty,
hats.
your ring, who
Sunshine
has the
yellow or
night that
tangerine yellow?
goes with that hat?
Oh, cool.
Sun, I think,
Yes. I spent $8 on this ring.
Really, because I've been looking and saying, is that a yellow diamond?
No.
Can that possibly?
Or a topaz.
okay, so we decide on color scheme number 1 for caps, the blue and the green.
I like that.
On the
Yellow
yellow?
hats with the
Yes.
blue and the green. I like
Okay,
that.
Yep.
yellow hats,
I think
Wee,
that's
that
really
is
nice.
colorful.
With this?
Yeah, it wouldn't look good with number 2.
I actually prefer the one we can't do on the yellow, but given
The multi-colors.
Yeah, given what we have to choose from, I like one.
And you don't like number 3 because it looks more like the Town of Superior colors? I mean, I'm just saying.
It's not going to stand out as much on a yellow hat.
It's I like want the yellow.
Blue sky, green, and
Yeah, I think taupe would be better.
We'd be able to see each other better with yellow hats in a crowd.
That's true. We will stand out.
Everybody does.
I like the yellow for that purpose. is
Yeah.
You're going to wear them at your events, et cetera, and you want to stand out.
The
you know.
sunshine
which size
yellow
were yellow?
or the tangerine yellow?
Sure.
Sunshine
I would.
yellow.
We wear the yellow.
Sunshine.
It's sunshine.
So which yellows?
There's
Sunshine.
really just
Sunshine
one,
yellow,
the
yeah.
sunshine.
And then with the blues
Okay.
and greens. I mean, I love the multicolored
Logo
one.
number 2.
Number one would
No,
also be
logo number
cool
one.
on a white hat. Why don't we have a white choice?
It gets really dirty.
They don't make those.
I don't know.
Which number did you
I'm
say?
just relating.
Yeah,
Some hats. I don't want to feel
Yeah.
sculpted.
Yeah.
Which
Seems like
logo on
Sandy
the
on
white hat?
vacation.
One on a white hat would look gorgeous.
It would look good on that taupe too, you know.
Taupe's boring.
Well, it's more,
Yellow is
Real.
not, this would be not be a boring cap.
that would not be a boring cap.
White would, number one would be cool on white hat or
Yeah.
black hat, too.
Can't have
Okay, do we
a
want to stand
Yeah,
out?
gray hat.
So apparently.
Yellow stands out.
I think we need to stand out.
Yeah.
I really
We could
do.
always direct people.
If you're-
say,
if you're
"Just
like
go
the
over
night
there and
out,
ask
you have
the
on a
person with
yellow
the
hat. Or a yellow t-shirt with the CAPS logo on it.
I think we
or-
need to do a vote. How many of us have pink fair skin? It doesn't look good in yellow. Oh. How many have beautiful olive skin? Okay, 1, 2, yeah.
Jane's right, it'll take us like 5 years to come
I
up
don't
with
know
this
how I
culture.
look in a yellow hat. I've never had one.
It'll be very bright.
Okay, can we move
If that sunshine yellow will be very
Make a
bright.
decision.
I really don't
It's
care.
7:30.
Okay, everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, is your
The
vote the
first
yellow hat?
order, though, we could do yellow. If they're really a failure, they're only a cap. We can,
So
throw them
they're
out and go
$20
with
a
another
piece.
choice.
You wanted me to let you know too.
we don't have to pay, do we? Since when do we have to pay for our cap?
Well,
Since,
that-
I mean, somebody has to pay for them. The town, right? But I mean, it is.
Click on
paid
yellow
for.
to see if it
Somebody's gonna pay for it.
shows up, right? Like right now you've got the blue chosen. Like click on the yellow and see if it,
Yeah,
click
it
on the
will
color.
change
Does
the
it change the color of
cat.
the cat?
Should be
Have
Amazon.
shown aqua. I don't think they allow you to show more color.
This is just a picture anyway. It wouldn't.
Oh,
this
okay,
is the
so it's
actual
not gonna,
website.
it's not an
Yeah, it's not like interactive.
I think these
Okay.
colors are a little off, because that Dijon does not look like Dijon.
Well, just because they named it.
And
that
aqua
mean it
doesn't
is.
look aqua on the little square thing.
Okay, so we've decided on a yellow sunshine with the number 1 design.
Yeah, if we hate
Yep,
it, we can change
yep.
it.
And if we
Okay.
hate it, we can change it.
Okay, so
Okay.
when do we have to get you money?
Okay,
What's next?
what's next on the agenda?
That'll be paid for. That'll be paid.
I think these will be complimentary of the town.
They will be paid for.
If
by
there's
the
a
town.
problem
There's
with
no other
that,
way to
we
do it.
will let you know.
Okay, start to identify opportunities for art installations.
We've done
We've
that.
just done a
We
bunch of
just
that.
did
Yeah.
that, yeah.
Crosswalk.
Oh, okay, so that was approved?
We have been asked as a committee, should crosswalks be the solution on
Waldona.
Weldona to possibly participate in that? And, but it has not been
Gone
approved yet
anywhere.
as the solution.
So,
So that's down the road.
Okay.
But Katie, can we show Bill some of the cool crosswalk treatments?
Yeah.
How,
I also wanted to show you, I kind of pulled up the Waldona, like some options.
Right there.
Which street is
Yeah.
Waldona?
Yeah, just so you guys even kind of see.
Oh, there it is.
Okay. so
Because
there's-
people
what I-
cross
yeah.
over 88.
Is that where the light is?
No, the light is
Oh, the
further
light's
to the
farther up.
north.
Yeah, so, there's a crosswalk right here that could possibly be done.
well, the point was speed bumps.
Right.
Mhm.
And there are some ideas that we came up with to decorate speed bumps.
Right.
If they want to do that.
Three-dimensional.
So that's what we're waiting on, whether or
Now to make
not the
it
board
look like,
authorizes the construction of speed
Yeah, but
bumps
I
on
figured-
Waldona.
Okay, because here was the other option. I mean, there's truly like,
It's just the wrong
actually Martin and I were
state.
talking, there's a ton, so many crosswalks in town that could be.
But
And
it
how many
wasn't
do we-
crosswalks.
It was
The
the bumps.
assignment was speed bumps.
Speed bumps.
If that's approved, and crosswalks are just sort of the general concept we've had.
But we had talked about, I mean, they liked the idea, you guys, of the, in front of the schools, like the areas that really have high-speed traffic. So are we waiting for the speed bumps on Weldona before we continue with
And
any
we
of them?
don't have to wait.
We don't have to wait, okay.
I think their question to us was, if we put in speed bumps, could our committee come up with some ideas to decorate them? And I think the answer to that is yes.
Yes, but so what is the timeline then for the
Well,
school crosswalks?
We had thought
taking
about doing it before school started.
Exactly, because I know that was
It has to
in
be
the
like
town budget for repainting the
couple of weeks.
crosswalks
Yeah.
this year, isn't it?
Yes, but in kind of talking with Public Works and Martin, you know, there'll be some added costs because, you know, you'll have to wash off the,
Right.
like if, you know, you did them here at the schools, and we have to wash off these and get
And
those,
do
you know,
the-
and get some different paint, different colors paint, get the street grade painting. So you'd have to come up with some sort of presentation to the board so that when they would also.
Oh, presentation, okay.
Yeah, you know, approve the actual artwork and, you know, come up with some ideas and.
You can't
Budget.
wash that stuff off. It has to be, it's.
Sandblasted or something.
It's
Yeah.
actually cut out, and it actually affects the quality of the asphalt. So, again, we're not trying to make projects
Yeah.
here. We're trying to augment projects.
Is
So.
it possible to overlay it with something and then paint it, rather than taking it up?
Yeah,
we-
I think
that's-
so.
yeah, I think-
We'd probably work with a contractor, like with Roscoe, and just see.
Right. And we probably should be cognizant of the town's roadwork projects, because where they're doing new work and need the crosswalks to be repainted and redone would be perfect timing. Unfortunately, I don't think any of that's in front of schools.
Where is the road?
Well, the other one we talked about was by Target going into Founder's Park.
Right.
Yeah.
That was another biggie.
Right.
Or Sagamore into Founder's,
If I
those two.
remember the discussion we had, which was that if you had a particular crosswalk, like you were saying, Debbie, from Founder's Park and stuff like that, that you just literally, Martin had said, we'll go buy the crosswalk paint
So,
and take some kind of create a stencil or go out and paint it.
Yeah.
That's as simple as that it needs to be. So if you want to do something more creative and more extensive and put all kinds of things, but if you want to do something, present it, say, here's the hopscotch or the piano keys or whatever you know
Wanna
you
see
want
it,
to
Katie?
present.
Can you go over
Can you
to
bring up the, some
our
pictures?
crosswalk?
And then
guys,
you
the
paint
committees can't function on a monthly meeting, and that's why we started the small groups, right? So now the small groups for the parties in the park is done with that mission. In an effective system, they would be repurposed with their
Right.
project number 2, which might be the crosswalks, right? Because
Because mine was
then
Bare feet
those
would be
those
cool.
3 people in that subgroup do a lot of this work between meetings and present to the full, and that would include where to start this project. Do we start it in front of the schools? I would not put an artificial deadline on, or a onerous deadline on yourself that we do it before school starts, because we know we can't, right? But we can create a project that before school starts next year, in the summer months,
The bridge, the road
we,
bridge.
we do it.
So Denver
Okay.
actually created a whole program around this. Like community groups can go apply, and I can send you that information. It's actually, they have quite a bit of good information on how to do it and what to do, and, you know, nice thing is the town can
Well,
create a street closure plan for you.
It brings in that community involvement when they go,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
that we painted this crosswalk.
Right, see, look at how simple this one there, that
Yeah.
one, that's not really hard. You lay it out, you know,
It's
like
just
Daryl.
clever.
It's clever. Daryl
Yeah.
could lay it out, you know, and you could create something like that. So I think it is pick one, create one. Look at that. See how they're doing it? It's literally just a stencil. And pick one, that barefoot one going up to the pool or something would be kind of cool. And the barefoot one up there on the two.
The
Going
hopscotch.
toward
Well, it's a
the,
hopscotch.
yeah, isn't that
But Bill,
cool?
this is just such a clever idea.
Bill's going,
At
"Oh my
very
goodness."
little expense
I
to
love, no,
have.
I love crosswalk art. It's my,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
each one would be different. There's no, every single crosswalk that's sponsored or whatever, there's not like a single theme. They can be whatever. It's just an open
Yes.
forum for
like the
creativity.
zigzagging.
Right.
Okay, so go back to the agenda thing. So we'll come up with a subcommittee. I think we basically already have one, just not official. And then,
Pick a crosswalk and then present it.
right,
you
and
know,
then
or two.
we'll get a
And a
presentation
location?
ready, and
Is
then
that how
we'll put
it's
it on
done?
the,
Okay.
We'll get on the
the
agenda.
council, on
Well,
the
what,
agenda.
for example, in front of the schools, you can choose whatever, each one can be unique, or perhaps you pick a stencil, but it's painted differently.
Mhm.
You know, like the little thing for the stencil for the caps
Right.
thing, where one was lime green and blue, and the other one was da-da-da-da, and the other one was da-da. So you can use the same stencil, but paint it differently.
And who is our contact person for like new road work where we might be able to isolate some other?
Alex or Arnella.
Alex.
But you'd go through Katie or
Yeah.
go through.
Right.
Because politically, everything goes through Daryl and Katie, right?
Right.
And then Katie
Yeah.
says, this is what I think needs to be dispersed to Martin or
Katie's the-
Sandy or Rita or
Katie's
whatever.
the staff person.
Okay.
That everything funnels through
Yeah.
Katie.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I
and then,
think just identify, like, Debbie, if you get a group of people that want to paint Founder's Park crosswalk by Coal Creek Crossing there, come up with a plan, come
Okay.
up with a design, I mean, what you would like to see as a design, and then say what colors of paint you need, and do it. I mean, then bring
Present it to the
We'll
board.
bring it
And
to,
present
yeah.
it to the
And then
board.
and that's where I'll help you write the cover memo.
I think the schools might be something for it, like Sandy was saying, next year, because the other thing I think would be really good is if you engage the students and/or
right.
Boulder Valley School
Mhm.
District.
Yeah.
The
That would be
teachers, the
fun.
principal there. So you actually engage the students in that, and that could be something you do with them this year to actually get the painting done in the spring of next year.
Yeah, I mean, you could, and even do it
Work
into
with the
street
art
safety.
teacher.
Well, work with the art teacher, work with the kids, street safety,
art
you know,
teachers.
have someone talk about
do
street
really
safety and
good jobs.
crosswalks and.
Functional art. I mean, it's
Yeah.
got to do something.
Right, exactly.
It can't distract the kids from watching out for the cars.
Right.
You know?
But I mean, but
No, you
safety.
probably should say, are you watching for cars? It's like the yield sign in your roundabout. I've complained about this to Matt. It says yield when you're already in the circle. I mean, the front of your car is like, whoa!
Yeah,
You need to have the yield on this side
This is
of the
the
crosswalk.
painting or the sign?
The painting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the sign is worthless too. It's
It's all,
also.
it's all Alex's fault, you know?
Yeah.
That guy,
I told him too. I said, what is this? You're already in the circle before you go. And my husband said it should say, yield,
Watch out.
you should
Yeah.
have. already. You should have.
you should have yielded.
Yeah. I told you.
I told you to yield.
Just have a
Okay, I will
backward
think.
pointing arrow. Yield back there.
Yeah,
I like the
yield.
idea of the kids doing the art though, and you could stylize it or whatever, but have them, give them a stencil of the dimensions, have each kid draw a piece of it, and then stylize it.
Have
Because it
the
could turn out
have
really
the
cool and just do it in
school
black and
pick-
white.
Have the school pick it
Yeah, I do too.
at their
Yeah,
school.
that's
Yeah,
a cool
right.
one.
Go through the art teacher,
Right,
and it becomes a whole lesson on functional art.
right, right.
And
Safety.
Because in the Superior Elementary, isn't there, I know there used to be, I don't know if it's been painted over, but for years, they had that project that went all across the country where you put the United States on the playground.
Oh, that's right.
You know, you put all the states, you painted it,
Yeah.
and that was a project. I know when I was in the, long 100 years ago, US West, the telephone company, the Pioneers, Telephone Pioneers of America was an association, would do that. They would go out and paint those United States, each state was a different color, it was a stencil. And they played on it and hopscotch and jumped all over. And there used to be one painted by the Superior Elementary, I don't know if it's still there or not. But that's the concept. We can paint that at any time. You just create the design, colors, get the paint.
But it's got to be the right paint. It's got to have some longevity. You know, there
No,
are.
it's sidewalk paint. It's our roadway paint.
Roadway
Mark
paint.
knows what
Right.
it is, yeah.
Yeah, and if there are colors, it comes in colors, it doesn't come in.
Yeah,
all
there, I
that
think
kind
there's a
of
pretty
stuff.
limited palette of colors.
Yeah.
and stuff comes in.
So,
Okay, so the
so we will
discussion-
have a subcommittee of
Oh,
people
yeah.
who spearhead this. Okay.
So the discussion continues about identifying opportunities for art installations. So I'm afraid to overextend ourselves, right? We're talking a lot about the downtown. There are lots, when we're going through, we can think of ideas of, for our existing parks in the future, but I don't think we should.
What is this mural behind the fire
Well,
station
she
by our
had me
house?
drive by it. It's so funny.
Was this Daryl's idea?
Yes.
Okay.
So, you know what I'm talking about? It's that old. It's in the alley between like.
Oh, in
I don't even know
original
where I
town.
was. In
In
original
original
town.
town.
Yes, and so it's this
Oh.
blank
We already
wall.
have a whole fun painted house in original.
That's
Yeah.
what I said.
I
Nobody
don't want
would
to compete.
And we have to pay for that. You can't believe how
And
the
now
kids
a whole
think
yard
that
of
are
white
cool.
rock.
The little kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just, no one would
I will.
see it, so
Then I don't see
I thought, well, maybe it would be an idea, someone,
Okay.
to see how involved the community was in painting it, if we wanted to see, but I think.
Where would they do it on, where would they do it on the fire station?
On the very back of the
Who sees
building
that?
facing, nobody.
No, that's what she's saying.
In fact, I drove by, I said, is that what you're talking? I had her on the phone, she's in like Vermont or something, I was like,
Okay.
okay, yeah,
Check,
check.
let's move
Yeah,
on.
so I think,
Just put no next to that.
Or,
yeah,
we have no
I think
idea
we're,
what to say.
I didn't know what it
I
was either.
I don't want to
I agree with
overextend
you.
ourselves.
We've
I think
got
we're
more
doing the cross,
important
right,
projects.
okay.
Marcia's
Well,
raising
then,
her hand though.
Can I
so-
make a suggestion about number 4, discussion and identify
Yes,
opportunities?
please.
Can we just move that to next month's meeting where we'll have a plat of town parks,
Right.
okay?
Well, Jane said she would help with that
Main Street as well
too.
as the parks.
Yeah,
I think
But I
so.
think it needs to be before the end of August.
And-
I think that that committee identifying opportunities for art needs to meet before.
And I would be happy, as new kid on the block, to give you my services as much as I could to work as a subcommittee,
On that.
kind of
Great.
hone this in. And anybody, I'll work for anybody or anybody who wants to
anybody?
do it. Good.
Oh, that's
Great.
fantastic.
Yeah.
And Patrick Hammer
Focus.
will be, he's got all of those park
Maps.
map proposals, concept
Yeah.
plans and things like that,
Yeah.
and some really cool.
Mylars, the blueprints,
Yeah.
or whatever they're called, yeah.
And I know this is the busiest time for Parks and Rec, the summer,
Sure.
they're always outside, but still, you'll make time to sit down.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, so I
But
just
again,
feel
that
like
subgroup should meet before
for
the
the
next meeting.
opportunities, just for CAPS to make a presence in the community, we're gonna have the crosswalks, right? So people will be aware that we exist, and that's gonna be a little bit of the whimsy that we talk about. So that's just getting some attention, and then our long-term focus will be in downtown Superior. So, and I think that is.
You have 2 roundabouts.
And we have 2 roundabouts.
Yeah,
I
the
think
other
that's
major
the
thing is
foundation.
the Newcastle roundabout.
And then we will continue to go to the town of Superior functions and just to advertise ourselves. So I think that's
Right.
fine.
And then next year, you'll start over again with
This
the
committee's only been in
activities to
place
create
since February.
Yes.
the parks and other things that you're gonna come up
Right,
with.
and then we'll have the artist registry in place by then
Right,
as
right.
well. So I think that's
Well,
plenty.
With the artist registry, we can create like a Google form almost. If you guys put together the info that you want to gather from the artist, that's an easy thing to do.
I think
where we
that's on
can
the
just
RFP.
Put a link. No, like,
The artist registry.
Local
for the artist
registry.
registry.
Oh, local,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. So, if you, whatever info you want from them, we
Which
can
means like a
create
shared
something.
list that you can all access.
Yeah, like a little,
Okay.
it's just a form they fill out real quick, then it creates the registry for us,
Right.
Okay.
so.
Right. People should be able to go on and do it,
And
or
this
you
is
should be able to
only for
transfer the
people who live
information.
in
Yes,
Superior,
yeah.
right?
Throw it in, yeah.
but I would not.
So to review, our subcommittees are.
Yeah, what
the
are-
Roundabout, yeah, what are our subcommittees?
Roundabout.
The roundabout.
Okay.
Angela was also supposed to be on the landscaping. She was supposed to go around and take pictures of the, the landscaping in different stages
Can we
during
have
the
the
season.
chair? How does this work, Katie? Does staff contact Angela to see whether or not she feels her schedule's going to loosen up? Or does the chair of the committee?
Usually the chair will first.
Okay, so I think
When
we
Daryl
need-
I
gets
think
back.
Daryl's
Yeah.
trying, okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
So,
and then we kind of decide then.
Yeah, because we apparently have to do some review there because if we're missing people
Right.
in key capacities.
There's your list.
Oh, thank you.
I need to,
Artist.
Right, okay.
Okay.
And then pop-up events,
That's me.
right.
That's kind of the part, well, you're the
It
same.
was kind of the park party, yeah. It
Yeah,
was
so it's
kind of
all
the-
event kind of a thing. the
Right,
next-
so I think going for the remainder of this year, the pop-up events, I think will just be on public relations, right? Kind of morph into just publicizing ourselves at the Town of Superior event. So if that just morphs into public service announcements.
Well, we talked about something at, well, obviously be at Chili Fest and also the holiday tree lighting,
Right.
doing some kind of fun cultural thing
Yeah.
at
And
that.
we're kind of in the process right now, kind of figuring out exactly what we're doing with that. Because we're working with combining it with Escape Santa and Sports Stable. And so
okay.
I'll keep you guys in the loop. of what
Some
we're
other
doing.
things we should all be aware of. Budget process is starting now for 2018. So budget requests have to go in. Also, work plan development for 2018 needs to be happening at every one of these meetings going forward. We've got to present a work plan to the board for approval, which will be what you do in 2018. So we've got to join the specter of official committees here. So budget and work plan.
So Crosswalks is not a committee? Is it under, maybe it's under art installation opportunities?
I think so.
Should we combine them?
Claire just couldn't make today, right? Claire's
Right, she's
yelling
usually
about-
Usually pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. So art installation, if Jane wants to help with that, is Crosswalks under art installation? Just tell me where Crosswalks are.
I think that makes sense.
Well,
Okay.
I actually think it also makes sense for park parties are over.
Right.
So if we're adding crosswalks, the
Yeah, I don't
first
think
group.
park party should be a separate, I
I
think
don't
that
think
should
it-
be under pop-up events.
I think it should be under pop-up events,
Right.
or events, just
Events.
events.
yeah.
Right.
Okay, I think events should be.
And so, and the crosswalk could be an event if
Yeah.
you're trying to get the schools engaged.
The point is, once a group finishes, then
Mhm.
they're repurposed to another area of interest.
Okay,
Or brings, like, if you've got installations, it could be multiple things. I mean,
Right.
Events are multiple things, and so one of
Okay,
them.
so we'll tweak. that.
So I was just saying, you cannot rest on your laurels. You have to regroup, get your energy back. and then
art
charge forward
installation is
with another.
Crosswalks.
Right now.
Right
that's
now
part
it
of
is.
The actualization of that. The other,
And
and
Bill.
I think that is, did someone, Lindsay or somebody from the historical commission?
Katie did.
Katie came here? Oh, Katie came here last time?
Mm,
Okay.
a few-
Or what, a couple
few,
times
yeah,
ago?
yeah.
Lindsay was going to, I thought, but it would be good, I think, if someone had time occasionally to show up at the historical commission meeting on the third Fridays at 10 a.m. They meet from 10 a.m. I
Wait,
know
when?
it's third Fridays of every month from 10 a.m. to 2. Because they have activities that are going on that would be great if you kind of work together on and maybe or expand upon. Because one of the things that they really want to do is bring back their spirit walk or their cemetery,
Oh, fun.
and that would be a really good event,
Yeah.
That'd be great
for Halloween.
I know,
Same
but the
thing.
problem has been because we have this developer that's out there and messing up everything and we can't get to the cemetery.
Oh,
That's,
Can't get to the seats,
that wasn't
right?
you, it was your predecessor.
Yeah.
But, and,
You still can't get there, can you?
well, he's going to make a way for us to get there if we have
We're
to.
definitely gonna add a way with
Yeah.
this whole park thing, with the Central Park over there.
This
I don't
is
know,
for
right-
Halloween.
Right now you can.
It's supposed to be in Halloween, but don't know if it'll make it this Halloween, it might be, but that's a reason why I'm saying.
But we can
to-
attend the Spirit thing in Boulder for inspiration. They dress
They
up
do
as
really good.
historical characters next to the
yeah.
tombstone.
Wow.
Thank you.
And Denver does that too.
Thank you.
Bye, no, it's great.
Bye, Jane.
I'm down for it.
Okay, it's really an interesting thing when they dress up and stand beside, dress in the costume
That's
and
spooky
talk
scary.
as if they're that person
And
that's
need like
buried
those
there.
flashlights under your chin and
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, there's multiple
Okay.
things that they do that would be really great.
And who's the contact person
Um,
for the Historical Society?
Larry?
Larry Dorsey is the chair.
Okay, somebody
And
might
Molly
be there.
Woligorsky
And where do they meet?
here, right here.
Okay.
Fridays at 10
Fridays
a.m.?
at 10 a.m., third Fridays.
Is
I
that,
just
is
had
that
a-
this Friday?
No, that was
No, it was
last
last
Friday,
Friday.
because
Okay.
you're the fourth Friday. We
Oh,
just
that's
had a
right.
meeting last week, Friday. But it went, because I was here for that, and I thought, should have you all, because they were talking about their events that they're going to be doing. And even the museum, it's open every first Saturday of each month, first Saturday of each month. And they've had some really cool things that they put up about, like the woman that owned the mine, the industrial mine here, first woman, only woman in Colorado to own a coal mine, and pretty cool, interesting stuff. They do a lot of interesting stuff. So not to take over their events, but to tie in or add to or augment, that I think would be really good,
This is a stupid question, but the roundabout, I was looking at it as a separate committee with Marcia as the chair of the two roundabouts. Do we need to put the roundabout under art installation opportunities, or what do you think?
No.
It needs to go somewhere.
Well, is it separate or is it actual committee?
Yeah, I was thinking it was separate from that.
I thought it was a separate committee for
I think
those two
so, that's
roundabouts.
why
I think this is broader
Okay.
vision type of committee.
Okay.
And I think she's an execution type of committee.
Okay.
She's
It's
going to be
really
executed.
identification of the
She's going to
art
execute.
itself.
And when is that,
Okay.
when are the proposals due under that RFP for that
So,
roundabout?
October
I actually had to
2nd.
change the date to October 2nd.
October 2nd.
It was October 1st, but it was a Sunday.
Okay.
So,
Do you
October
all
2nd at 4.
have a list of artists that you think this should be sent to?
Well, he's got his preferred ones from his previous project, so
Yeah.
they should.
Yeah, I'm happy to
definitely
share
receive.
if you send me the link, I'm happy to share the RFP with them too. And I don't,
Can you do
it's a
that,
little bit,
Katie? Maybe
I don't
send
know
it
if
to
geography's
them.
gonna be a problem for them, but I'm happy to send it to them and talk to them about it. so.
That would be great.
Yep.
That would be great.
Um,
Because even if not for this one particular roundabout or even the second roundabout, it would be good to have them in our artist registry.
Mhm.
Well, and it's good to have some history on these artists too, in terms of how the quality of their
Efficient they
work,
are.
their
Yeah.
dependability.
No, and I'll
things
tell
like
you
that.
from experience, it's pretty tough to find artists who do this scale of work and have done public installations before with the safety and all the considerations you have to come into place.
So-
Lots of artists do sculptures in museums that never get touched and never get climbed on, and this can't be that.
Right.
So, and the other funny thing is that I didn't actually realize until we started looking through people, a lot of artists do like one thing, and they do that type of sculpture
Yeah.
over and over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of hard to find too, someone who's willing to, but that's why I like Terrence, the guy who did those, is because, you can see there's a pretty good amount of variation in all of his subject. There's a lot of fish and a lot of metal, but some variation, whereas a lot of the people we looked at was like, I do this glass ball on a rod thing, and that's
Well,
what I do.
It does
Okay, but-
seem that somebody on the artist registry, I don't know if this is on the roundabout committee or the artist registry committee or who does it, to actually look at all these cool Pinterest and figure out the artists and
Yeah, we'll
make
try to
sure
go
they
through
get
and do
our.
that.
We'll do that.
Yeah, I
Okay,
think
you want to do that?
Yeah.
Debbie, you.
Yeah, I have it,
wrote that
I have it
down.
on my list here, that
As
we
a
need
thing
to
to
go
do.
through the Pinterest,
Go through
list of
Pinterest.
artists on Pinterest.
Because this is a robust budget. It should appeal to a lot of people.
Yes.
It's not like a $25,000 budget that people say, I'm not going to fiddle with that one.
Well, like Stapleton, the guy who's the developer, when I talked to him a couple weeks ago, was like, this is really almost a status thing for an artist to have a
Right.
piece of work, like the one in Stapleton called Eye of the Needle or something. It's like, this is a big deal for them.
Right.
Oh, that's a huge deal. I mean,
Yeah.
imagine how many people are gonna see it every day.
Yeah. What's Terrence's last name?
So at the next meeting, as we formulate an agenda, are we going to have our creative moment be the 25 pieces at Stapleton that we can,
Let me put that on my to-do.
that would be great.
One other thing that we haven't, that I just randomly thought about, and I don't know if you guys are the appropriate people to weigh in or not, we're trying to come up with new street names for a lot of the residential streets in Planning Area 3. There's a historical reference, it's not necessarily art, but I would like some
Don't
help
do
and
anything
input
really
from
weird.
town members.
I think
Like they have
that
in
would be a
Prospect.
good
We
question to ask
could,
of
but
this
it
committee.
may be a little distracting too.
It's up to you, if you wanna.
Yeah.
But
push
it's
it
Do
on.
you guys want to get
placemaking.
involved with, it certainly is
It's
placemaking.
placemaking, I think, and again, you say, meet me at Old Railway or something, I mean, that's what
Yeah.
I even say
Because
for me.
we had, the Chamber of Commerce did some work on this a couple years ago, I wasn't there.
And there were 5.
She sent me some names, there were like some women's names, there was Josephine and a couple other ones, but she doesn't have the background on who they were, or what they did or anything, and I'd like to kind
Oh,
of.
we got all that. 'cause
So
this was
Larry
Dorsey.
Dorsey.
How about we
D-O-R-S-E-Y.
meet at the corner of Degas Avenue and Picasso?
If you ask the art committee,
Most people would say,
Well,
"Oh, it's big off."
probably it's going to be meet at the corner of Hake Road
Yeah.
and Mr.
Yeah.
Hake.
Josephine Roach was
And then we
the
can have the
owner of
big
mine.
fish.
Josephine was.
that-
Yeah.
Owner of the mine, the coal mine here. But I can give you all of that too.
that'd be great.
Because that was presented at the board.
Isn't it Josephine Hake? Isn't that Mrs. Hake?
Josephine Roche.
Roche,
Yeah, and so the Hakes are south of,
Yeah.
the Coal Creek Crossing, that open space that we own there. That was the Hake
Original farm.
original farm homestead. And we want to turn that into a park here soon too. A open space trail park, not a mobile park, but you know.
Rita just started a project. We went on a tour, and it is
Well,
lovely.
you know, yeah, something, yeah, no, I've already
But you
said.
can't have a project without inspiration.
Terry just gave me a good idea. We have a lot of focus on nature, and, you know, we have, we could have Barn Owl Way and Great
Swallow
Horned
Way.
Owl and Swallow Lane and. what else?
Heron?
Blue Heron.
We had
How
elk
long
in
it
the
is
field
when you
behind her
talk about
house
addressing
last
And, yeah,
night.
Elk Meadow.
They were actually bugling.
Elk Meadow Lane.
Oh, you're kidding.
And yeah, my neighbors have pictures of
Prairie
it too.
Dog Ridge.
Yeah, they were out in
We
the,
could want
Coyote.
that
To be your.
We could
Coyote
use-
Way.
We could use our wildflowers too and have Columbine Way and.
We actually, so that's block 13 is Buttercup, and those are all flowers.
oh, of wildflowers.
Yeah.
Are
So we started with
they
that.
going to be
What have you named?
Colorado specific ones?
Yeah.
No, what do you-
Rita knows all the wildflowers in
I
Colorado.
pulled them all up. I like.
Paintbrush,
Kitty
Columbine.
So we have paintbrush, we have
Kitty
Buttercup.
Kenny Connect is the best one.
I don't think we have Kitty Connect, but I like it.
I don't think
Can you imagine what a 5-year-old saying, my address is
Street.
1023 number 8.
Kinder Connect.
God, we just spell it out for everybody.
Ridge, that's their streets.
Who's
Yeah,
that?
right, all of
In
those.
Erie, in Vista
Okay.
Ridge, that's all their streets.
Yeah.
They're
That's the-
connected.
Oh, wildflowers?
Yeah.
Well, in Wildflower Park, the big one
Kitty
right
Connect
now
is
is
in there?
Sunflower.
Okay.
And then Coreopsis.
How do you spell
Well, that's
Connect?
But we
Bachelor
How do you spell
Button, Bachelor
Connect?
Button Way.
Kitty Connect,
We could do
K-I-N-N-I,
Tulip
Bachelor
Way.
Button.
I,
Yeah.
and
Short
N-I-C-K, I think.
Make them short. I mean,
have the right
yeah,
rock.
think
It was
about
actually
5
just
years.
like,
Yeah.
But that's
eggplant
cute, Bill,
that's
to
used.
have a bird grouping and a wildflower grouping, rather than Interlochen Way,
Right.
Interlochen Loop,
Yeah.
No,
Interlochen Court,
no, no.
Interlochen Drive,
Yeah, Drive.
Interlochen.
There's an area like that in San Diego too that's called Carmel Valley, and every road, there must be 4,000 roads that are Carmel something. Carmel
Yeah.
Creek, Carmel Road,
Yeah.
Carmel Ridge. It's unbelievable.
It's
Right.
really.
So I
impossible
like,
to find anything.
I like the pocket, I like the
Yeah, yeah,
animal
Kitty
pocket,
Connect is
I like
the
flower pocket,
Colorado
the bird
plant,
pocket.
but it was used also the.
Then
these
it could even be the
Americans would use
historical
it
name
to
pocket,
smoke.
just
Well,
with
make
hay
them really
Ah. Is it
Yeah.
hallucinogenic?
Yeah, I
or-
don't think it is, but it
Right.
was, so sometimes you may not want to use it
I
because
think
of
people will
practice,
want
but
to
it
live
sounds so
on-
cool. It's like
on,
killdeer.
Killdeer Lane or
Killdeer
whatever,
Lane,
you know.
a friend of
But
mine
let's
lives on
make sure
number
they're
one
all
Killdeer Lane
connected
on the
to
hog
Colorado
back
and
over
stuff.
there in, what is that place way south against the mountains? I can't think
So
what
we
it's
will
called
not
right
have
now.
Shark Way and
But,
Whale
you know, her
Drive
address
now.
is number one
Okay.
Killdeer Lane, you know, that's like, what? But killdeer is not like.
Killing a deer.
It's like killing, it is a flower.
Yeah, yeah.
A
It's
flower?
plant.
I thought it was
It's
a bird.
It's a plant. No,
So,
killdeer is a
Okay,
plant.
quick question. I think we should meet sometime between now and August 24th.
Yeah, for sure.